think it's going to be one of those podcasts. I think it might be one of those podcasts.
What does
today.
that mean?
Well, I have a raging headache.
Okay, I'm glad that you said headache.
Yes,
that makes more sense.
Yes, other things can rage that are not like sexual.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know, I have a raging headache. You told me earlier that you're feeling a little tired.
Yes,
so like,
I'm a little tired.
We're going to be really careful about not wandering too far into the just like fuck everything zone.
We'll try.
Yeah. But
I'm sure one of us will zone out pretty quickly, though.
It'll probably happen. I don't know. The pain is keeping me pretty awake. It's not keeping me happy, but I am awake.
That's fair.
So, welcome back, everyone, to another one of those Rage Select podcasts here on That Rage Select. I'm that Jeff,
And I'm that Mike. I think.
Yes, and we have a lot this week because we got a big, fat, juicy Nintendo Direct.
Yes, the directest of the Nintendos.
We can't not talk about Nintendo Direct because there was actually a lot there. Like
there was something that happened.
Yes, there was a lot of things that happened. But before we get to that, I have an impression. I have an opinion that I feel the need to say out loud.
What is it about?
It is about that Star Wars Visions anime anthology thing that they put out last week that I thought was coming out last month, and I totally got the date wrong on it. I sounded like a fool because I think there was one point where I was just like, oh, it's coming out tomorrow. I can't wait. And it was like, no, it's coming out in September. Did you watch it? Did you watch any of this?
I've started it. I haven't gotten that far.
Okay. I watched all of them. I finished them up last night. I kind of broke them out over 3 days. Didn't care for it. Didn't really care for it. It was funny because I think that as a consumer of anime, I was thinking about it the other day, and I feel like a lot of people think of anime and they just think of like really bombastic, like stylish fight scenes, but that's not really what attracts me to anime. Like, I really like these long, I like the fight scenes, don't get me wrong, but the fight scenes work better when you care about the characters, which happens because you're in the middle of fucking season 4 of, some show where you've gotten to know all these characters, whereas these shorts were between like 15 and 25 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. Like
very little time to establish anything. And so it was all just kind of based on these like tropey archetypes. And the longer it went on, the more I was kind of like, I don't really care about these characters very much. And then the stuff that they were doing was really basic. Like some of them were kind of interesting, but a lot of them, the kind of like the first one, is this like really, it's like this black and white kind of Japanese thing.
It's just the man with no name.
Yeah,
like the guy goes into town, some shit happens, and then he does some shit, and then it's over.
Well, I'm not going to really feel bad about spoiling these things because they're
really
not
short,
high art or anything
for the most part.
But it's like the Raiders come to town to blow up the town, and they've got a Sith with them, and then it turns out the wandering man with no name is also a Sith, and he defeats the other Sith and then leaves. But it's like, but why? And who is he? And what is his relationship? And what the fuck is he doing? And like, I really would have rather had that first one expanded into 8 episodes to learn more about it, but it's like then we're done and we're moving on to the next one. That and I don't think I like Studio Trigger anymore.
Really?
I don't think I've liked Studio Trigger since Promare. Like it seems like they're very flashy, but that they've kind of run out of
Which one
substance.
Did they do?
They did 2 of them actually. They did the one with where the Darkseid twins fight on top of a Star Destroyer, and then they did another one later on that was about like the second one was better, where it was just like a Jedi and a Padawan, and they find this old man, and the old man's a Sith, and the guy they fight, and then the old man dies, and
the end.
The end. and there's all this like intimation about just like, if I'd fought this guy in his prime, I might have been a different outcome. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't. And this is 15 minutes long. Like, what good is telling me this? Like, it doesn't. Like, it would have been one thing if like that old man was a character that we knew from Star Wars, that it had a tie into the Star Wars universe, but it didn't. So it's just kind of like this really basic story, and it just didn't really work for me. Like,
I can get that, but only because it seems that you just wanted an actual like full-on series more than what it was, because I think you were just expecting it to be something else, something that it just was not going to be.
Well, I see. Okay, I don't think that's true because I wanted it to be more like the Love, Death, Robots on Netflix, which was a lot of really experimental, interesting shorts, right? That kind of had their own conceit.
I see.
Set in the Star Wars universe. I mean, the thing is that I would have been fine if it was I knew that it was going to be an anthology, so I knew that they weren't going to tie together. I guess I was just hoping for more substance than like, then there was a lightsaber fight directed by an anime studio, and yeah, it looked good, but it really kind of hammered home for me the idea that it's like, just seeing a good-looking anime fight that's not as interesting to me without the character stuff to back it up.
No, I get that, but I just mean like I just saw them as slices of life of this area. Kind of thing. Like I never really expected it to go all out because that's the weird thing. Like it sounds weird saying it that way. Like it sounds more like I had low expectations. It wasn't that I had low expectations per se. It's just I wasn't expecting bombastic plot things within a 10-minute time frame for some of these things.
I guess the thing is that
like I'm sure like I was a little disappointed by the fact that I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
especially in the first one because I really liked the first one a lot. But yeah, I was just like, but who was that guy?
Right.
Like why does he have all these things?
Right.
Like you're just gonna, and then he just walks away, and then you're just like, but why though? Kind of thing.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that like the action in and of itself was not so dramatic and interesting that I was like, holy shit, I've never seen anything like this before. And that a lot of that could just be because I watch a lot of anime. And then the story was very what you just said, where it was like, well, who was that guy? Well, what the fuck was that? What the hell just happened here?
Yeah.
And so like there wasn't anything for me to sink my teeth into. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess.
So
like,
what you're saying, Jeff, is you want more Batman Ninja.
I
like Batman Ninja, by the way.
I would have been more than happy to see something in the Star Wars universe that was on the insanity level of Batman Ninja.
I would too, to be honest.
You know,
I love Batman Ninja.
I want a bunch of Greedos to all jump together and become one gigantic Greedo.
Exactly, and I want a bunch of those flying things that were inside the stomach.
The Minox.
The Minox. I want a bunch of those to form into a giant Luke Skywalker, and then they fight.
I don't know. I guess maybe my expectations were too high, but I didn't find anything. And again, I think a lot of that might just be the fact that I expose myself to a lot of fucking anime.
You do.
And so I'm kind of stacking this up against the shit that I mean, like I just finished watching the JoJo's Golden Wind last week.
Yes,
and that was
true.
A great, series with a bunch of like really batshit insane ideas that came to a strange ass conclusion. And I just didn't feel like this stacked up to what I want out of anime or what I want out of Star Wars or...
Well, you're very particular about your anime in general.
Sure.
Because people will like recommend shit to you and you'd be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But when you get into something, you get really into it.
I'm also really particular about my Star Wars because I just want
as most people.
Well, maybe that's another reason that this didn't work as well for me is because I'm like, there are people that are not Jedis in the universe of Star Wars, and this was like very Jedi focused. There was like one episode that didn't have to do with the Jedi.
See, that's disappointing me only because I haven't seen the whole thing. Because I would like, my favorite side of the Star Wars universe involves more of the smuggler side.
Yeah,
because like the Han Solo stuff and. So I'm always like annoyed when everything is just lightsaber all the time. It was like the Batman thing. It's like, look, I like Batman, but I need other people than Batman to have their own stuff, and that's how Jedis are in the Star Wars universe, where it's just anybody with a lightsaber in general, for that matter. That's why the Mandalorian works so well. Yeah, for most people as well as me, because it's just like there's some Jedi stuff in here, but for the most part, everyone's like, I don't know what this is, and I don't care for it, kind of thing.
Well, there was also a very and I don't know if this. I got the impression that there was like a mandate that happened because every episode had like a line of dialogue that was some iconic line of dialogue from Star Wars. Like every one of them had something where it's like, this is a bad idea, all too easy. Jedis don't seek excitement. And I was like, did they make you guys put like a line in every one of these, or was that something you all decided to do together? It started to become really jarring because sometimes those lines didn't really work for where they were. And it was just like, oh, Oh, I see what happened there.
No,
but
I think what it is that we have to remember that a lot of these creators are like American weebs, essentially.
Yeah.
Is that they're finally given the keys to something, and they really just want to do the thing that they really hyper focus on. And I think that's just what they did.
And the other thing is that a lot of them were like, oh, here's a planet in the Star Wars universe. Turns out it's just feudal Japan. Turns out it's just Edo era Japan, like that first one, right?
That first one is very much just like I thought they were cool visuals, though. I won't lie, but it was just kind of weird because it was just like, but this is what?
No, I get that. I think it's just that there was like 3 or 4 other ones that were also just like, oh, this is just a planet where it happens to be feudal Japan, and everybody pulls their lightsabers that look like katanas out of scabbards for some reason. And it's like the first time that was interesting, but then when you see it repeated, it's like, oh, okay, all right. I don't know.
It just seems kind of weird to even have that for your katana lightsaber.
It didn't.
I guess it's the aesthetic. It's just kind of weird.
I suppose. It seemed to me like it was. It seemed to me like there was a lot of focus on like making sure that it felt like a specific kind of anime. I don't know. I didn't really care for it.
The process was how they picked them either, to be honest.
Yeah.
For all we know, everyone gave their specific ideas, and Disney was just like, I like those guys, and then just went from there.
I mean, to be honest, like I would love to see something in the Star Wars universe that was as insane as like Gurren Lagann or fucking
I would too.
Kill la Kill or JoJo's for that matter.
I want to see a batshit insane anime space battle in Star Wars.
I want to see people who have harnessed forced ghosts to stand behind them and go muda 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 muda. Yeah, exactly. Their hands, all their fingers are lightsabers, and then they form them into a lightsaber fist, and then they go yada da 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 da, and then somebody figured out that other person did a thing, and then they chop off their arm, and then haha, I'm victorious. Oh, but wait, it's Tuesday. You don't know what that means. I watch a lot of JoJo's. Anyway, before we jump into this Nintendo thing, Michael, what have you been up to recently?
So I'm still keeping up with Archer and What We Do in the Shadows, and they were both really good seasons so far, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really like how Archer is right now. This latest one, the only reason I bring it up now is because this latest one I really, really liked. It was a plot involving Archer going after an enemy that like he met on his very first mission, and it's got these flashbacks where it turns out one of his mentors was a Bruce Campbell agent.
Okay,
so Bruce Campbell guest stars as his old mentor, kind of thing, like in flashbacks and stuff, and it shows like how the mission went wrong, and then it was a lot of like backstory to Archer that I really liked. Like just to be like, this is why Archer's kind of a dick, because he wasn't always 100% like that, but he's just sort of felt like maybe I should be a dick from here so I don't have an issue like that anymore, which I found really interesting. The Halo beta is going on right now.
Oh,
Halo Infinite. I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. I like it a lot. It is the most Halo has felt to me in quite some time, which is the only way I can describe it. I really, really liked it. I can't wait to try to play it with more people whenever it actually comes out. It's only got like 3 maps. It's got some new weapons in it that weren't in the old ones, but I like it a lot so far. I'm hoping to get some more hands-on with it because it's supposed to be this weekend and next weekend.
Okay. And
I got invited to both betas, apparently, so I'm pretty excited.
Can you put more words to the idea of the most Halo that you've ever Haloed a Halo?
Well, sure. So the issue I've had with Halo since after Reach is that they kept getting closer and closer to Call of Duty type things. And I felt less like Halo and more like trying to be Call of Duty but with a shield. Kind of thing. I keep saying kind of thing.
Sorry.
But that's the thing is that every time I played like Halo 5, I just felt kind of weird about it. Like there was just something off about the whole feel of it. Like it was still fine, like I still liked it, but I didn't feel like everything looked like Halo. Like everything was really shiny. Certain characters just looked really weird to me. With this, I think their designs are closer to like normal Spartan outfits. The guns feel like the movement, everything that's going on with it, its coloring and everything feels more like what I remember Halo being. Is really what it comes down to, and that's really like that's why it's hard to explain.
Sure,
but it was the most fun I've had with Halo since I was like a teenager.
The Call of Duty comparison is probably the most apt thing, because I remember playing. I think I played some Halo multiplayer back in it's like 3 or 4. No, 4. I think
4. Because I know me and you played 4 for a bit.
Yeah, but the idea that it's kind of going back, that's kind of trying to differentiate itself from Call of Duty instead of everything kind of oozing into the same channel. Makes sense.
It still has some of that stuff in there. Like, I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. Like, there's now, have like a slide. Like, instead of like when you're running, you can hit the crouch and then you slide, kind of the way Call of Duty does. And the maps still have some differences to them, because old Halo maps tended to be like every weapon had its very specific place.
Yeah.
Where this one, they're still doing the power weapons thing, where like a certain weapon's considered a power weapon, quote unquote. So like if there's a rocket launcher on the map, it's going to appear in one area, but it's like highlighted to be like, this is where the thing's going to be, and it'll show up in like 30 seconds, sort of thing. So that's kind of annoying, only because people just fucking camp that area, because once you get the rocket launcher, you have all the fucking power almost, because you're like, you can kill everybody in like one shot. You just have to make sure you don't miss, kind of thing. But that's like the only annoying part. Like, literally the last game I played before the beta ended, a guy was upset because we weren't camping that area because the other team was, and they kept getting the rocket launcher. So every now and then, like, he'd come on the mic, he's like, oh damn it, fucking just like stop him from getting the rocket launcher. And I was just like, dude, we're like, I'm barely surviving right now to begin with, because these guys are really like well coordinated. Because every now and then, because that's the only frustrating thing about playing a beta, is that sometimes there's groups of people who are very clearly together.
Sure. And
you can't like stay, the way the beta is, you can't stay with whoever you're playing. Like, it's just once you hit start matchmaking, it throws you back into it.
Right.
And if you have people with you, they'll come with you. But if not, like, it's just you and then whoever else it matches you with. So you run into like groups of like 3 or 4 who are clearly very much like together, like, so they're always together and they're like surrounding you. So even if you're getting like one guy, the other guy's going to punch you in the back, sort of thing. So there were some matches where they were like that, but they were still fun to me. And I think that's why I say that it still feels like Halo, because I've had issues in the past where I'll play a shooter and stuff like that will happen and I'll just be angry.
Yeah.
But I never had that issue in this one. Like, I was more like, that was fucking bullshit. But that's like the kind of thing you say when you play a competitive game in general.
Yeah.
But I was never like, I'm going to throw this controller at my TV kinds of level angry that I've done with Call of Duty. So I'm just like, this is my jam. And I'm excited for it whenever it comes out.
Cool. Well, speaking of being excited for things to come out, we have a lot to be excited for from this Nintendo Direct that happened. So let's see. I have the video up here, but then I also have.
I feel like I rambled.
No, that's all right. All right. So let's see. I think we started with this Monster Hunter expansion.
Yes.
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, where it appears that Monster Hunter is now Dark Souls for some reason. Or I don't know. I just got really heavy Dark Souls vibes off of this like crumbling medieval facade and like really shiny dragons, and it didn't look as much. Monster Hunter Rise is a very Asian feel to it, right? And this felt very like medieval European, which I don't think I've ever seen from Monster Hunter before. I mean, I'm not saying it's not ever been like that, but
it does. It's just that it's never really been used in a cutscene kind of thing.
Yeah,
because some of the areas have that. Like a lot of the armors have a lot of that sort of feel, as well as there's some areas that might have that. But for the most part, something like that's this gothic and the way the lighting and everything is, though.
Yeah,
that's kind of a new thing.
Big Bloodborne moon.
Yeah,
big red Bloodborne moon.
It very much feels like a Castlevania Bloodborne-y type area.
Yeah,
when they first show off the area, and then even the monster, like it's the monster still looks like kind of like a Monster Hunter monster, but it's the presentation still doesn't feel like it would normally be a Monster Hunter presentation.
Yeah. So that's a giant. That's Sunbreak, which is a big expansion that's coming summer of next year.
It's probably going to have all the G rank stuff because people are wondering if there's going to be G rank in it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what most people are hoping for.
Okay. I mean, there wasn't a lot to the trailer outside of just what we just talked about.
Getting fucked.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got a new trailer for Super Mario Party All Stars. is the problem with running a news show is when the news is a game that you don't like, and it's just like
it's a Mario Party ass Mario Party.
Yeah,
like, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because Mario Party hasn't really felt like that 100% for a little bit. Because the original studio who used to make a lot of these, I think they shut Sunsoft. I think it was Sun something. I can't remember the name of them. It was the one that had the B on it. The B Hudson
Soft.
Hudson Soft was the one who made a lot of these, and then they stopped making them. So a lot of people had issues with Mario Party because of it.
Oh,
so this might be more of like, I want to say return the form, but it's only because they're old fucking mini games.
right.
And remastered like boards. So I'm thinking a lot of people might be excited about this just because it might be closer to what they want from Mario Party.
Sure. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna play Mario Party. I don't like Mario Party. I always take away all your stars. Everybody always, I'm always ahead, and then they're like, oh, here's a star tax, and also you smell bad, so we're taking 5 stars for that. Also, Michael is the best, so we're gonna take 10 more of your stars and give them to Michael for that. Also, you played Mario Party, so we're gonna take 45 of your stars and give them to Michael for that. Oh no, you have 0 stars now. What happened to all your stars, buddy? I'm like, you took them. I was winning, and then you fucking took them. Mario Party.
Mario Party is a savage motherfucker. It has ruined many a friendship. The last time I played Mario Party, I felt like I broke a friend of mine's soul. And I felt so bad about it because I was just trying to fuck him over one way, and then basically the game did what you said, where it's like he walked into the wrong area, and Bowser mugged him, and then took his shit, and then gave me his shit.
God damn it!
It was pretty fucked up.
It's coming October 29th. We got the full trailer for what is this new Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars, which I think we saw a teaser for not that long ago, which is this Yoko Taro has some kind of hand in it, but it's this card game where like everything is a card. So like the environment is like a table with a bunch of cards with like trees and cities and stuff, and then there's like individual cards that you fight. And
yeah, that's right.
Whole thing is like an old school RPG, but instead of pixels making up the world, it's cards. And
Which
the battles
is kind of neat, to be honest. I'm never gonna play this game, but it's neat.
Yeah. No, but you like cards so much, Michael. It's kind of a cool idea. They did put out a demo for it, which is interesting. I mean, I always like kind of ambitious stuff like this that is, like this is the sort of thing that they could put together in a year, as opposed to having some fucking gigantic RPG that takes 1 billion years to make.
True. Plus, it's really creative, I think. Like, it's something you could probably do in real life with like that many cards, but it would take forever.
Yeah.
But like having a game doing that is just kind of neat.
No, it's really cool, and it's coming out in October. And there is a demo. I downloaded a demo, but I haven't played it yet. But I'm kind of interested to see what it's like. I especially hope that like with the way that it's like a board game, I hope that it's one of those things where it's like, you can finish a session of it in like 2 hours, and then you're supposed to replay it a whole bunch of times.
That could be neat.
Yep. Disco Elysium is coming to the Switch. Cool. Everybody should play Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium, fantastic. Michael, have you ever considered playing Disco Elysium?
I've considered it from how everybody talks about it, but it's just never come up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. October 12th.
I have too many things. Like I'm still literally in the middle of fucking Breath of the Wild.
That's
and
true.
Also playing the Halo beta.
Yeah.
And playing Avengers though.
I think you should stop playing one of those games.
I won't stop Breath of the Wild. That seems dumb.
That's not the one. Yeah, October 12th, Disco Elysium is coming out. Hyrule Warriors. I feel like this is like when that PlayStation showcase happened, and it was like it started out with some really interesting stuff, and then the middle was just kind of like
Hyrule Warriors has never really been the most exciting thing in the world. Like it's just like I'm fine with it, but it's never. I don't know. Like I don't know. That's hard to explain. I think on that one.
Yeah. I think it's just been really interesting to watch Nintendo over the years go from a company that never did DLC ever to like a company that has thoroughly and wholeheartedly embraced season pass expansions and additional content.
Well, they used to think the internet was stupid, but then they're like, the internet gave them money, and they're like, oh, we can keep doing this.
We
forever.
like money. So yeah, if you like Tower Warriors, Age of Calamity, there's going to be an expansion, and it's going to be October 29th. So Square Enix is making a Mario Kart chocobo racing
thing. This caught me the fuck off guard because there hasn't been anything chocobo racing like I think since the PS1 or something, if I remember correctly.
I think it's a bold move to put out a Mario Kart clone on the console that makes Mario Kart.
Yeah. See, it made sense back then because it was a PS1 game, but now it's like, fuck, dude, like you're directly challenging Mario on his own house.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It looks like it could be fun, but I don't know. That could go either way. It's really what it comes down to.
I think it looks really silly. I don't.
It's silly as hell, but that's good for a kart racer, to be honest.
I guess. I don't know. I guess the era of I feel like Mario won the kart racing wars, and it's like, why would you play anything but Mario Kart?
For the most part, they did. I think that because the only ones that were still making them regularly was Nickelodeon of all fucking people. Yep. They kept making the Nickelodeon racers. Every now and then Sonic would make one.
What's that one that you like? The Banjo? No.
The Crash Team
Bandicoot.
Racing?
Yeah, Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing 1 is amazing. Everything after that was like a cash grab for the most part.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons it failed over time because people didn't think they were doing a lot with it.
That's coming in 2022. From there... okay. This is my favorite thing. This is my favorite fucking thing that happened. And I was in the Discord. Everybody was like, "Oh, are they going to announce the last character for Smash? Oh, is the last character for Smash?" I don't even have the heart to look at like the to go back and watch like a replay of the live chat on YouTube because they literally announced, they were like, "All right, let's talk about Smash," and it's like, Mr. Sakurai is gonna do a thing in October 5th.
The final Mr. Sakurai presents.
Yep.
And yeah, it was like October 5th, which is like 2 weeks after they aired this thing.
Yep. So they literally announced the date for the trailer for the thing that you can buy coming, and I was like, "Oh, good move, Nintendo! I love it. I want Nintendo. I mean, based on the way that people downvote Nintendo shit, if Smash isn't involved, I want Smash fans punished, Michael. I want them to be punished for their arrogance because not like regular normal people, but everybody knows there are Smash fans that are just like, what is this? A Nintendo thing where they didn't talk about Smash? Downvote, boo, fuck you. Where's Smash? And it's like, oh my god, calm that shit down.
I'm legit curious if it's gonna keep happening even after this is done, because here's my favorite thing that I noticed that was a trend on my feed, my Google feed, is that even though Sakurai mentioned ages ago that this would be the last time they were going to do a DLC character for this, and I do mean ages ago, there were still news stories popping up in my feed going, is there going to be another fucking pack? Like over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's like, you motherfuckers, like just like this fucking memory lost. Like he said it ages ago. He's like, this is it. This is the end of it.
Yeah.
We're not doing any more after this. The fucking end. And there's still news stories. They're like, an insider said there might just be another one. It's like, he told you to your face that you're goddamn it.
Yeah. I want poor Mr. Sakurai to go be able to make something besides Smash Brothers characters. Like, I don't want him trapped in the Smash mines forever, like creating new characters. But yeah, of course, now that I see it, this video doesn't have as many downvotes as I would have thought. It's at 4,000 downvotes.
I think it's because everyone was so excited about the ending.
184,000 upvotes, including me. But I was grinning from ear to ear. I was just like, let's talk about Smash. A little while later, not today.
Fuck you guys. We have another big announcement, they said.
That's right.
With actually a really cool announcement, in my opinion. I mean, this one that we're looking at.
Yeah. There's a new Kirby game.
Yes, but I think it's interesting that it's not a 2D Kirby game, which we haven't had in like a bajillion years, to be honest. I don't even remember if there has been one specifically like that.
A 3D Kirby game? Like a 3D kind of character action platformer Kirby game?
I don't think I've ever really thought if there was one. I think there might have been one, maybe for the 64. I don't remember, but it's been so long I don't remember if that was true or not.
I don't know.
But it's the aesthetic of it too that I find really interesting.
How so? Tell me more.
Well, it's because it's not just a Kirby game. It's like Kirby wakes up in fucking like New Jersey or something.
Like a post-apocalyptic overrun urban center with like no people.
Yeah. like he wakes up like on a beach, and then it's him running around in a mall and stuff, like stuff that you could see in real life, except for the animals and stuff, of course. But that's what I find fascinating about it. Like it's jarring to see the fucking bright pink circle next to a very realistic building.
Yeah,
and I'm super interested in this game because the last Kirby game I thought was just kind of meh.
That was the Epic Yarn, right?
No, it was the. I don't know if it was Epic Yarn. I know we played it here.
I think it was Epic Yarn on the Switch.
I think we played it. I don't remember.
Or was there one after that was like a craft?
It was a normal Kirby game. That was the thing. I don't remember what it was called though. But I just remember it being like too easy.
Epic Yarn was Yoshi. Yoshi's Epic Yarn.
Because there is a Yarn Kirby game, but it came out on the Wii like years ago. But I don't remember if they made a sequel or anything to it.
Let's see.
But they made like a normal Kirby game that was like a 4-player one.
Oh yeah.
But I just remember it being like too easy.
Yeah.
So I was just like, So I was hoping for something more. So I'm hoping this one's a lot more challenging because even the 3DS ones I thought were more challenging than that last one.
What is 2010s, 2020s? Kirby Fighters 2, Kirby Fighters Deluxe.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They keep coming out with the fighting ones.
Yeah.
Which are fine, I guess, but they're just like boss rushes for the most part. All-Star Allies. Or Star Allies.
Kirby Star Allies.
That was the last one that I was thinking of.
Okay.
That one I thought was too easy, but I think that part of that was because it had a lot of co-op aspects to it.
Yeah.
And I just thought I was hoping for a little more challenge, which, like I said, I think even the 3DS ones are a lot more fun that way.
I hate Kirby so much.
Yeah,
I hate Kirby so much.
You've said on many occasions, because I think you actually gave that last game to Amanda, I think, if I remember correctly.
Probably. I didn't want that something trash like in my house. Yeah. He's just a pig circle. I fucking hate him.
People he's become really loved by the internet for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like people will be like, oh, I really like gooses or whatever or some shit. Kirby, for some reason, is that Nintendo character everyone just won't stop memeing about.
He's the goose.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's not the one I expected that to be on, but people love him.
He doesn't have very much character, at least to me.
He literally absorbs people's power, so I get what you mean. He's literally a blank slate.
Yep.
That's kind of his jam, being a blank slate that eats everything.
I don't know. It's fine. It looks fine. I mean, the thing is that no matter what, Nintendo doesn't generally tend to put out really bad games.
For the most part, no. Usually.
Sometimes
Star Fox.
Sometimes you get a Star Fox,
yeah.
But...
I want to love you, Star Fox, but you're just not letting me.
There's
sick bastards.
There was that story last week where it's like Platinum really wants to remaster Star Fox Zero, but it's just like the ball is in Nintendo's court. And I get the feeling that what Miyamoto is just like really, really salty that people didn't like that. He really wanted that concept, the aiming Wii U pad thing to work.
He really wanted that fucking thing. That's the thing is like he keeps adding dumb shit to games that end up causing it to fail.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that need like more games. They're just like, what if we did this stupid thing instead of the thing everyone wants?
Which I don't know. I would really like it if there was a version of Star Fox Zero that was playable.
Yes, I would too.
I tried, and it was like, I watched the What Happened for that, and it was like, he was like, you'll get used to it. You'll learn how to play the game this way. And it's like, I got news for you, pal. Like, if I pick up a game and it sucks to play, I generally don't continue playing it to get used to how the suckage. I don't know.
Especially the time frame when it came out, there was a lot of good games that were out at that point. So you're just like, I don't have time for this learning this stupid system you guys decided to do.
Yep.
Also, again, it was like essentially another remake of fucking Star Fox 1.
True.
Because they won't stop fucking doing that.
Yeah. That Kirby game is coming out spring 2022. Let's see. From there, what did we get? We got another like... we're going to tell you something at a later date. There's going to be some new updates for Animal Crossing, and you'll find out about them later.
It was the way they did that one that weirded me out. Because at least with the Sakurai one, they were like, they outright just said, here's the Sakurai thing. The Animal Crossing one, you have to watch a character walk up the stairs, read a thing, walk in there, and then there's like, it goes to black for like a good 2-3 seconds.
Yeah.
So you're expecting something to happen, and then it just goes, announcement later. Like, fuck you guys.
Yep. So, let's see. Mario Golf Super Rush is getting an update with some new Koopa Troopa, some new courses. I will not be reinstalling Mario Golf. I beat that game into the ground, and I don't want it near in my life. Also, Ninja is going to be another golfer, which is a little strange, but
people like Ninja.
This weird take your me to Disney World game that was like a 3DS game is getting released. What is it called? It's like
Disney's Magical World or something.
2,
the Enchanted Edition, Jeff.
I don't know what you do here. Is this just like Kingdom Hearts for people that don't want to hit stuff with a keyblade, where you just walk around and talk to the?
It's you get to hang out with them, and now Goofy's your best friend.
Okay.
But you're also me, and you look really jarring next to everybody.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I might actually end up getting this and playing it just because it seems like it could be really fun to make fun of.
I would probably actually.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the original, not the remake, is coming out on the Switch, and this is kind of just the same as all the rest of the. This is Aspire, who's done all of the porting of what was Star Wars Racer and
every Star Wars game they've come out with,
Jedi Knight or something like that.
I want them to re-release the redheaded stepchild everyone forgets about, the Twisted Metal clone one, the fucking Battle something
Bombad. Oh no, not Super Bombad Racing. Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about. The Destruction Derby one.
The one with Boba Fett flying around and there's an AT. It was a fucking crazy ass game. I don't even remember the name of it anymore, but I always remember the cover of it. Because it was one of those games that you're like, what the fuck? Whose idea was this? But I love them for making this stupid fucking thing.
It was a very dark time for Star Wars games.
It was.
Star Wars Obi-Wan, Star Wars Starfighter.
Yep.
But anyway, if you want to catch up on Knights of the Old Republic, you can do that later this year. Dying Light 2, I thought this was really interesting because this is another streaming game. So Control, they've put out a few of these so far where the Switch definitely can't handle the graphics for Dying Light 2, so they're doing a cloud version where it's going to stream back and forth. I haven't actually played any of the cloud version games that they've put out, so I don't know if they're any good or not. I do know that it's interesting that Nintendo's the only company that has just mixed in games like this as the only way to play this on their console. Xbox has the xCloud stuff and PlayStation has PlayStation Now, but they're all broken out into other things. This is spend $60 on Dying Light 2 and then play it over Google Stadia, over the Nintendo version of Google Stadia.
I think it's fascinating, the fact that they're literally selling games that are, fucking on
stream
servers.
Only. Yeah.
Which is just, it's a good move on their part if they want people to, not have the argument where, well, this console has this game, and why can't you? It's well, because it doesn't run, but now they have a way around it. It's that thing again where they hated the internet, but now the internet started finally giving them some avenues because they finally fucking started paying attention to it.
Yeah,
that can help them expand in ways they didn't think about before, and I think this is a good move in that direction.
Did they put out Village that way as well?
Resident Evil Village? Did Village come out for the Switch?
It might have been only in Japan, or I don't know. I
know Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to be a cloud one.
Oh
too.
yeah. They're also putting out the original Dying Light. The Dying Light Platinum Edition in October. We got another trailer for Project Triangle Strategy,
which we played.
Yes,
demo, at least.
I was just talking in the Discord where they're like, we listened to all your feedback about the demo. We've made a lot of improvements, including seeing the characters better and this other thing. And then the last thing they said, we're like, also, we've shortened the load times. And it's guys, you could just assume that my criticism for every video game is that the load times are too long and that you need to shorten the load times.
No.
You don't need my feedback to shorten load times. If it's possible to shorten load times, shorten the fucking load times.
The future is load times being as low as possible.
Oh, man. I'm playing the Death Stranding on the PS5. No load times.
Oh shit! I forgot that even came out. Yeah, not having load times on that must be fucking crazy.
It was great. It's great. So yeah. Also, let's see. Project Triangle Strategy got a release date March 4th. I don't know if that was known before, but they put it out. Metroid Dread got another trailer which was weird. There's this lady doing a voiceover for it. It was all the. I feel like if you don't already know about Metroid Dread, now you do, I guess.
It's some more Metroid stuff, and it's
more Metroid.
I like the voiceover thing just because it's a lot more explaining of what's going on.
Sure,
but there's so much cool stuff, visuals and stuff in this.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with a lot of the trailers. Some of this is kind of a little bit rehashed, but
I think the only weird part about the trailer is that, like, in the middle of it, he's like, "Hey, you should go to this website real quick."
Oh, right,
to read this shit.
Check out these, check out these lore entries on this website.
Like, yeah, it's just like, what? It's like, okay, sure, I guess, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm, you know. We are less than a month away from Metroid Dread, from a new 2D Metroid. Fucking za. Like, good. No matter what other things I have to say bad about Nintendo, they've given me a new 2D Metroid game, and I am not going to complain about that. So,
God, I hope it sells well.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. From there, we got an update for Nintendo Switch Online, which is that there's going to be N64 and Sega Genesis games. To think that we live in a world where there's Sega Genesis games on a Nintendo console is like weird, but still.
It makes me laugh every time I think about the fact that Sega has all this stuff on Nintendo.
Yeah,
because Nintendo does the thing that Sega can't now.
Yeah. This is also though going to come with a price increase.
Yeah.
Which Michael, how do you feel about it? Like, I saw some folks in the Discord that were just like, "That's bullshit," and I'm like, "Well, of course it's bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. Like, the entire Nintendo Switch Online project has been bullshit. They give you garbage Super Nintendo games, and you pay them to play Splatoon. But that's the way everybody works. And of course, they're looking for an excuse to up the price."
I'm not too upset about it. Only because it's like $20 a year, kind of thing, or it's like what 60, 70 just for like the Xbox One or the PlayStation One.
I think those are 50,
even
maybe
then,
60?
like they're still really high up there.
Yeah.
Where this is just like, Nintendo is still trying to figure this shit out. And not only that, I don't really care that much about 64 games.
Sure.
Because the way they explained it was more like, if you want to have these, you could do that. If not, you don't have to.
It kind of does suck though that they make you sign up for the subscription service instead of just being able to be like, I want to play this N64 game, let me purchase it for $15.
That's the most annoying thing about their system, because at least with PlayStation Plus and Xbox, Game Pass and all those things, you can buy those games on those consoles. But these, like, you literally, like, this or that. Like, it's this or nothing. Like, if you want to play Super Mario All-Stars or whatever, fucking you better have this shit, because if not, fuck you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the only really annoying thing about their online. And I know shortly after this, they announced you can buy a wireless 64 controller for like $50.
Oh, that was in here.
Was this in here? I don't remember.
They're putting out an N64 and a Genesis controller. They're the same as the...
So they came out with the Super Nintendo one and the Nintendo one.
Yeah. Where it's like you have to have an account and then you can buy it through their shop, and they're like $50.
The thing is, I hate the 64 controller. Like, I have no nostalgia for it.
I don't know why I would buy that. Like, it's a worse controller. Like, it's ergonomically worse than just a regular controller.
100%. Like, because I grew up with the PlayStation 1. Because it was either one or the other kind of thing, and I at the time I'd rather had the PS1, which is, and in hindsight that was the right fucking choice.
Sure,
because the controllers aged better, and a lot of those games have aged really well. Whereas Nintendo, man, those fucking controllers and the way those controls work for a lot of those games did not age very well at all.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a 64 in college so I can try to playing the games I didn't play growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll play Donkey Kong 64. I love Donkey Kong. And I was like, this game is fucking hot garbage. Like, it played horribly. It controlled horribly. Like, every time I played a 64 game, I'm like, this plays horribly. Like, because this was, by then, the 360 was already a thing.
Sure.
So, of course, going from, like, playing a 64 in that time frame was like, no, there's no nostalgia here. I don't have any reason to care about these.
I think that in order to have enjoyed games of the PlayStation 1 / N64 era, you needed to play them when they were new, because then you can at least look back on them fondly as like, oh, I remember this. This used to be the best looking thing in the world, and how quaint. But if you go back to it without any of that spice, without any of that pepper on top, it's just like, God damn, this looks like shit. Like, why do I play this shitty looking shit game that looks like shit? Like, I think, like, I'll be honest here. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. This is well known. I might take away my gamer card again. I
was poor.
I hate Mario 64. I hate the way it looks. I hate the way it controls. Whenever my friends who had an N64 and they were like, you want to play GoldenEye? And everybody loves GoldenEye. And then that controller, I fucking hate the controller.
Yeah.
You're trying to play the controller with that center analog stick that's like too small and it's too far down on the middle post. You gotta move your hand. I'm just like, what is this? This is garbage. Like, I hate this. And so the idea that I would want to go back and play any of these games that I think look like dick and I hated is, to me, kind of, I mean, I'm more excited about the Genesis, obviously.
Well, the thing is, like, my favorite part is that not only does they expect us to play those games, they're like, $50 for the worst controller you've ever seen in your life.
Sure.
Like, oh, fuck you. I don't have 3 hands to make this fucking controller make sense.
Yeah. But at least they put Winback on there.
Yes.
They put Winback.
Winback is back, as well as Dr. Mario 64, everyone's favorite.
The only reason I would be interested in trying this out would be for Majora's Mask.
That's a maybe.
And then for the Genesis, they have a pretty good lineup for the Genesis.
My issue with it is that a lot of these Genesis games you can buy in the Genesis collections.
Sure enough.
And except for, I think, Castlevania. But even then, you can buy that in the Castlevania collection that came out not that long ago.
Yep. On the Switch.
Yeah.
On the Switch.
It's on the Switch now.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And you know what? I think... we're going to go ahead and take a break. All the meat is coming up, but I'm experimenting with this new thing where instead of having these big long things, we're going to try to make these like the size of a long dojo and then take 2 breaks. So we're actually over the time that I had originally thought, but you know, what's new for the Rage Select podcast? So give us a second and we're going to come back. We're going to get into the real meaty shit. I know that's what you're looking forward to, so stick around. And we're back. All right, it's time for that meaty shit I was talking about. It's time for that chewed up prime rib. An hour later. Well, actually, it's almost that time. We had a couple of collections that got announced. They're putting all the old Shadowrun games out.
Oh yeah,
which is a good move. I mean, those were fun games. The Hairbrained Schemes ones specifically, not like the Genesis one or anything like that.
Yes.
But the biggest banger was finally the full confirmation that they're putting out the Castlevania GBA collection, essentially.
Yes.
And it also has Dracula X is like a Super Nintendo game, I believe.
Yeah, because I think there was a portable port of it at some point. And but what I like about this announcement is it has rewind functions.
Yes.
Especially because Dracula X is hard as shit.
I fucking love the GBA Castlevania games.
Oh, they're great.
They just get better and better over time, and then Aria of Sorrow is like one of my favorites of all time. Like,
because it's what's on this collection again? It's Aria of Sorrow, Dracula X, Harmony of Despair.
Is that what it? I always forget the stupid.
It's the one with the white guy. The one.
Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and Dracula X.
That's right. Circle of the Moon is the one I always forget even came out, to be honest.
If you're gonna play these, I highly recommend playing the Game Boy Advance ones in order because they get better looking and more sophisticated the further you go down. And so if you play like the last one first and then go back to the first one, it's gonna seem like really primitive. I don't know. I'm gonna think about this, Michael, but I think Aria of Sorrow. I might like Aria of Sorrow more than Symphony of the Night. Like, Symphony of the Night is good. It's great. It's a classic of all time, but it's got a lot of like redundant mechanics and some kind of, I don't know, there's just some kind of superfluous bullshit in there. Like, you know, they've got you can do a fucking Hadouken for some reason later on. Whereas Aria of Sorrow is a really good story and it's really tight and it's got really great sprite work and it's. So
you're saying you're a fan of anime Dracula Soma?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
People really like that, the thing. I know Dawn of Sorrow is the final game in the entire Castlevania timeline.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
because
unfortunately,
those I would like to come out, but I don't know. I don't see a way of making some of those DS ones work, especially Dawn of Sorrow, because they had a very specific touchscreen function for some of your attacks.
Yeah. I if they did that, I wish that they would go back and just like fully remake it, because I guess I played. I played a couple of they re-released the Nintendo or the Mega Man collection.
Oh, the Legacy collection.
Yeah, and they put some of the DS ones on, and it was just like there's a hotkey to bring up a touch screen for you to do stuff with like the right stick.
Oh, that's right. No, you're talking about the was it the ZX and Zero one?
Yeah, it was that collection. It was the one with the later ones.
I forgot about that collection. I hated those games. Well, I hated the ZX series at least, but Zero was just hard as hell.
From there, we got the return of a classic. Another classic returns, Actraiser Renaissance.
No one saw this coming, by the way.
Yeah, they took Actraiser and they remade it with a bunch of really ugly 3D graphics that I think look incredibly bad compared to the original. But that's just me. It's
a weird choice.
I could also be a little bit wary about this. I don't know. I have to play this at some point for Rage Select to see how it goes, because they did put out a sequel to Actraiser. They totally put out a sequel to Actraiser that Amanda and I played that was dick. It was so bad.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
It came out like a year ago or something, and it was just so fucking terrible.
That's a shame.
But I don't know. This is like the original, and then it's also got some new stuff added in, and they've got the the kind of like sim management stuff with the Angel, and then the 2D kind of action stuff. It'll be interesting to see if it's as hard as Actraiser is or was.
They might have like an easier mode or something.
Yeah. And this is out. It came out. It's like, and it's out today.
Yeah, no one saw this coming. It just fucking came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I really wish that they had gone back and just like maintained all the look and feel of the original, but with just made the sprites look like redrew the sprites instead of making them 3D. Because I think that
how will we know it was remade, Jeff? Everything has to be 3D. Everything.
Deltarune chapters 1 and 2 are out on the Switch. That's just a thing that happened.
It's the sequel to Undertale, and it took a long time between 1 and 2 for these chapters.
Yep. The chapter 2 is coming out as a free update for chapter 1. I guess Deltarune was already out on the Switch. The chapter 1 was already out on the Switch.
Well, chapter 1's been out in general for a very long time.
Yeah.
Chapter 2 didn't come out for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I think that's why they're doing that. They said the later ones will be paid for, though.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that later. From there, we got kind of just a montage: Hot Wheels, Surviving the Aftermath, Shin Megami Tensei, Wreckfest, and then some kind of Namco classics. Xevis and Pac-Man.
What a weird fucking duo to do that with.
Yeah. Rune Factory 5 is coming out next year.
Hooray? Question mark?
I don't have any idea. And then the insanity began. What you've all been waiting for. Shigeru Miyamoto came out to announce the Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers movie that is in production.
With Illumination Studios.
Yep. I've been working real hard on it.
They made your favorite movies, Jeff, the Minions.
Actually, you know what? I like the Minions movie. I don't necessarily like all the Despicable Me movie, but I
hate the Despicable Me 3. I hate that movie with a passion.
I watched the Minions movie, and I was like, this is stupid and fine. I mean, like, what were you expecting?
Yeah.
It's...
Despicable Me 1 and 2 I like a lot. The third one I hate. And Minions was just kind of okay. And they're making another one. I know that's coming out soon.
The internet has a very strong hate boner for the Minions. They're like, the memes that boomer Karens use with all these Minions. And I'm just like, I never really had a strong feeling about the Minions one way or the other.
So, Jeff, I had that thought originally, and then I met one of them in real life.
Oh.
So I don't know if I ever told you about this. So when I started working in Austin, doing my very first support job, there was a woman there who was like in her 40s, who had just Minion outfits. And like she had like a Minion hat and like a jacket and like a shirt and like just every fucking thing. And she was
a grown ass woman. Repping the Minions.
Was annoying as fuck.
Okay.
And she was the worst worker. And she like luckily she fucking left like after like a week into the actual on the floor part. But everyone hated her. And she was one of those this boomer minion meme people in real life, and I didn't know. I had no idea what to expect. And then when I finally met them, I was like, "Oh, I get it. I get why you people hate the minions with a passion now. I really do."
I guess I just haven't met the right Karens. So
you don't want any part of that shit, Jeff.
I guess not. So the movie's coming out December 21st, 2022. So we're waiting. We're waiting quite some time for that.
They announced it a very long time ago too.
Yeah. And then the casting.
Yes.
And then the casting.
Then the casting happened.
So let's go over the casting, and then we'll talk about it. Chris Pratt is Mario. This is the biggest one. I think this is probably the most what?
It is definitely the most what the fuck of them all.
The rest, a little less. Anna Taylor-Joy is playing Princess Peach. I like Anna Taylor-Joy quite a bit. Charlie Day is Luigi. I could totally see that.
I could, to be honest.
It's not a problem.
Depending on how they do it.
Jack Black is Bowser. That seems perfect for me. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad, which is a little weird because...
It's super weird, but I actually am kind of excited the idea of Keegan-Michael Key as the fucking Toad.
Let's finish this and then we'll come back.
No, come back to it. Yes, we'll come back to
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Charles Martinet is going to be in there, the voice of the actual voice of Mario.
And Luigi and Wario. And
Kevin Michael Richardson is Kamek. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong.
Yeah, what the... Oh my god!
I don't know who Sebastian Maniscalco is, but he's Spike.
He sounds familiar. I'm sure if I saw his IMDb, I would be like, "Oh, that guy."
Like all these headshots, they didn't even bother. Did you notice this on Fred Armisen's headshot? They didn't even bother to crop out the photo credit at the top of his headshot that they used for this.
I think sometimes they people want that on there though.
And okay, so the internet has lost its collective goddamn mind.
Yes,
I saw some people online that were like, we managed to bully them into redoing Sonic. Let's start bullying them to remove Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario.
Well, my favorite reaction was that the energy from Chris Pratt's Mario announcement is the exact opposite energy of Idris Elba as Knuckles.
Oh yeah, yep, saw that. So okay, let me run a little something by you. I think that when most people think about this concept, I think that the thing that is bothering them is they think of Mario, like they've seen in the video games, opening his mouth and Star-Lord coming out of it. And these are the things I want to know. We don't know anything about this, right? So it would make more sense to me to have somebody besides Charles Martinet playing Mario if the style of this is not if this looks exactly like Mario does in the games and in the stuff, then that may be a little weird.
That's what actually worries me the most.
Really?
Is these characters are so specifically stylized in a very specific way that's still very detailed that you could easily just grab a lot of these models and then just make a movie with them. And so I'm worried that Illumination might just end up doing something like that. And that's why Chris Pratt to me is jarring.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pratt, when he does anything, he's still just Chris Pratt for the most part. Even in his voice stuff, he's still just it's very easy to tell this is just Chris Pratt. I keep almost saying Crisp Rat because of the fucking rat from the Suicide Squad, because that's what they named it.
Oh yeah.
But no, his voice is very specific, and you can always tell it's him, kind of thing. Whereas everybody else on there has been known to be able to do, or at least for some of them, have been known to be able to do different type of voices in very specific ways.
Sure.
Even Jack Black has some range to him, kind of thing. Whereas with Charlie Day, I like Charlie Day a lot, but if I saw full on normal Luigi and it was normal ass Charlie Day's voice,
right,
then I would be kind of weirded out. But Charlie Day has a very good range because in the Lego movie he plays
the space
guy,
yeah,
and he has a very excited, energetic kind of way of doing it. And you can still tell it's him, of course. I'm not going to pretend that Charlie Day is a fucking thespian in voice acting kind of thing. But I can still see his character working that way with that character.
Yeah.
But I just I don't it also comes down to the characterization of Mario.
Sure.
What are they going to do with that? Is Chris Pratt just good for that whatever characterization they're going to do?
That's where I was going before, was that the idea of, if you think about them using the exact assets that we've seen in the Mario games, it's very jarring. But if you think about a Mario movie that looks different than that, that's a different type of story, then that could be fine, right? Like, you know, if let's just do a thought experiment and try to imagine the Mario universe, but in the style of the like Mitchell's versus the Machines, right? But in a very different style, kind of more noodly arms, a little bit more stylized. It wasn't this kind of round, rotund type of thing. And then let's say if the story is not just like, here's Mario, he lives in the Mushroom Kingdom with his girlfriend Peach, but if it's like some better written version of like the original Super Mario Brothers movie where we're dealing with Mario, the person who gets sucked into adventure, then it might not be a bad idea to have it. Okay, let me put it this way.
Actually, I was going to say something. So I think I realized part of what it is.
Yeah.
Besides that. Yeah. This is specifically about Mario, because that's the thing, is everybody comes back to Mario. It does. Everybody, when they look at Jack Black and Bowser, and they're always like, I'm cool with that. With Mario, I think the main reason is the fact that people have very specific thought processes as to what Mario sounds like.
Yeah.
And I don't even just mean by Charles Martinet. I mean by like the Fight cartoon and Bob Hoskins having these very deep, specific voices.
Yep.
And so I think some people just kind of want that from Mario. I'm not saying I think that's just my. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying that I think it just came to me that might be part of the reason why people are jarred about it.
Definitely. I mean, I'll go back to what I said before. I think that the biggest thing, I think the reason that this provokes such a thing in most people's brains is because they imagine Mario, the character from the video games, and then they imagine Chris Pratt's voice coming out of that model. And I think that, like, so I'm trying to think of like, what would it be like if you had a character model that didn't look like the video game, and then if Chris Pratt, don't think of Star-Lord, think of
Andy
Elliot from the Lego movie. A little bit more bouncy, a little bit more like energetic type of thing.
See, I still don't think that would. It's for some reason that still feels weird to me. That voice for Mario.
I mean, part of it is I don't really care. Like, part of this whole thing for me is that I don't really care, and everybody's just like, grab my childhood, and I'm like, man, my childhood's fucking here's 6 feet under.
Here's the other thing that a lot of people have brought up, that the internet, because there's two other issues that people bring up with the Mario thing, and one of them is the internet being kind of cancel culture-y, which is that Chris Pratt is very much a Republican.
Yep.
Like, he is outspoken about that. I don't remember if he married, but he's with Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter.
Yes.
And he's very much like, because some of the memes I've seen about him being Mario is like him saying like religious shit, which makes me laugh every time.
Sure.
So that one's more the internet just being like, they don't really like Chris Pratt as a person anymore.
Sure.
But I think the internet turned on him very quickly, as they do with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
The other issue that I actually don't understand, that I somewhat get, but I have no issue with, is that a lot of people are like, why didn't you just make Charles Martinet the voice of Mario? There's a very easy answer to that. Is the fact that he doesn't do Mario's voice in full sentences that often.
No. And that's what I've been waiting to bring up, is that I don't want to hear that voice for 2 hours.
I've heard his voice and do a full conversation voice as Mario before.
Yeah.
There's a very old YouTube video of him being Mario, explaining how I think either a DS or a 3DS works. And he does the entire thing as Mario's voice, and it's like 7 or 8 minutes, and it is just jarring as fuck.
Sounds terrible.
It's weird.
It sounds terrible.
Like my friends sent this to me years ago, because this thing has been around for ages, and this was way before this ever happened. And I remember when he was doing it, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, it's just like, this is weird. I don't want Mario to talk like this, and I don't want to hear Mario talk for long periods of time. Well, as that voice, and that was only 8 minutes.
The affectation, the way that Charles Martinet does Mario's voice, it's very rich. It's very dense. It's like eating a food that has a lot of flavor in it, and it's great in those punctuations for doing jumps, for doing, for like, reaction shots or whatever. But you don't want a whole plate of something that's super, super dense and super, super flavorful.
That's why every fucking Mario RPG is just him going bada 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 bada.
Right, right.
Because they know people were weirded out by him talking in full sentences.
Yeah.
So I swear, you guys look this thing up, and like, you will have the same thought process most likely. And the thing is, he's a great voice actor, I'm sure, but I don't see him doing that voice for hour and a half, like minimum.
I'll tell you where I end up at the end of the day is show me a trailer. Like,
yes.
I get that the internet freaked out when the first Sonic trailer came out because you could look at it and go, "Oh my god!" But this is just like we don't know anything. We don't know what the tone is. We don't know the way it looks. We don't know the way it sounds. Like, you know, we need to see I need to see an end result and trust that Illumination is not just like a complete. Like they're not completely and utterly ridiculous, like stupid. That they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. That they're just like, I don't know, get Chris Pratt. He's hot right now without any consideration whatsoever for what it's going to end up being. I have to assume there was some thought process that went into this.
No, there's absolutely that process, and it all comes down to how these characters are going to be portrayed. Because here's the funny thing is, Chris Pratt is not the one I have the most issue with. The one I have most issue with is Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, because when I think of Cranky Kong, I want a voice like Louis Black, just yelling constantly, just being cranky as fuck. Whereas I just like, but I don't think that's how he'll be portrayed, and that's the reason they probably went with his voice. Like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is an interesting choice. So that's like, but depending on how he acts and depending on what he looks like, really depends on how this goes.
Yeah,
like there's a Donkey Kong Country animated series, and he's weird as shit in that show, kind of thing. Like for all we know, he'll be closer to that instead of just like, you know, the hulking fucking King Kong ass type character. Like we don't know what any of these guys are going to be. Keegan Michael Key is Toad. Yeah, Toad has this really high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
Expect to watch a movie with that voice and wonder why they make decisions like that. So of course they were going to make a decision like that. But depending on how that character's portrayed, these voices will probably work just fine.
Yeah. I want to at least see, I want to at least restrain my, like, my demand that the studio immediately redo everything until I see something.
I just want, honestly, my only issue with Chris Pratt is that I kind of just wanted somebody with a slightly deeper voice to play Mario.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's it.
Also,
or an Italian for that matter.
What I will say though, and I don't think this is not specific to this, but like, I also am not, just for the record, I am not a fan of using celebrity voices in. And I think they should use professional voice actors and not
very much
celebrities.
True. That's the other. That's the fourth argument that's come up a lot.
Yeah,
but there's so many animated movies where it's just celebrities that argument's harder to fight against, especially if they're like big budget movies. It makes more sense with that people are having that argument in this because it's a full on like established thing with people with voices. Yeah, which is the reason I brought up the Charles Martinet thing.
The one that always comes to mind is the Jungle Book, when they had Bill Murray be Baloo, and it's just like, guys, that's Bill Murray. That's not Baloo the bear. Yeah. It's just fucking Bill Murray in a bear suit. Like, you can't use Bill Murray and not have my mind just be like, oh, there's Bill Murray. There he is. Look right there.
The other thing is a very one that I can point at that's coming out soon is the Injustice movie. Because they're like, why don't we just get some celebrities to do this? Like, yeah, but you had perfectly good voice actors in the game. Like, sure, there's some celebrities in there, but they're still really good. Like the voice actor, like the guy who plays Freddy Krueger. He plays Scarecrow in Injustice 2.
Robert Englund.
Kind of thing. Yeah, Robert Englund. Like, and so it's like I can see, like, there's some celebrities in there, but, you know, for Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, you have these very, very, very good voice actors for them. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, let's get the guy who played Green Arrow in Smallville to be Superbad. You're like, but why, though?
Right.
like, you have these perfectly fine voice actors here. Like, it's like that's when it really annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I get when it's like this. I can get why people would be upset by that.
But again, I just want to quintuple down here on just like, I get really irritated when the internet is like, no. And I'm like, but I haven't even seen it. I haven't seen a frame. I don't even know what this is supposed to look like. I haven't even seen a poster for it. Right?
I remember the first announcement was very, very vague. It was just like, hey, we're making a Mario Brothers thing. It was just like a picture of Mario.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a stylized Illumination thing. It was literally just a Nintendo's Mario. And I think that's the reason people think it's going to look like that. Was the announcement was so just like nothing kind of thing.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, once we see, we'll see. But that was definitely by far That was maybe like the reason why there wasn't as much uproar about Smash or anything is because like everybody, I feel like everybody to a person who was watching this got to that part was just like, what?
There's so many like live reactions that you can find on the internet that are just people laughing.
Yeah.
Uncontrollably, and not even just at Chris Pratt, just at like everyone, like because when people thought they were going to make a Mario movie, their thought was, you know, old school Mario, just in a movie kind of thing, not fucking the cast of This Is the End kind of thing popping up in it.
I think that the Hollywood has a very good track record of fucking up Mario projects. In fact, Mario projects as a whole have been relatively terrible for a long time.
Anything that's outside of the games, for the most part, has been fairly terrible. Like, and I'm counting the old cartoons. As much as people like those cartoons are not very good.
Yeah. So, oh no, they fucked up Mario again.
Yeah.
But who knows?
My issue is that people were like, apologize to the Bob Hoskins movie. And it's like, no, fuck
What?
you. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck you guys.
Apologize to Bob
I'm not
Hoskins
apologizing
movie.
to the Bob Hoskins genre.
The movie is terrible.
Yes, exactly. That movie's awful. Fuck you guys.
I mean, like,
apologize to me for your dumbass opinion on that.
no, it is definitely so bad it's entertaining, but it is so bad.
Yes,
like, it is
it's
fucking
still
terrible.
really bad.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Splatoon 3 is a thing. There's going to be a single player campaign, Rise of the Mammals or whatever.
Honestly, I'm still amazed they didn't end on that Super Mario announcement.
Well, you know, I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't. But Splatoon 3, I mean, I don't know. There's just like there's a whole announcement about Splatoon 3. Splatoon 3. It looks good. It looks like more Splatoon. I don't know why they keep feeling the need to have a single player campaign for Splatoon, because it doesn't, the last one didn't really work for me at all. Maybe this one will, but like the difference, but like taking the Splatoon vibe and trying to make it into a single player shooter is weird, because the whole game is about how much paint you could spread around, not about like destroying enemies. I don't know.
I think again, it comes to the fact that they're still very wary of the internet.
Yeah.
So they don't think the idea of a multiplayer only game would make sense.
Yeah. I think it should just make it multiplayer only. Looks good though. And then let's see. Was there anything else?
Being coy.
Oh my god, the fucking Splatoon thing went on forever. Okay. No, I was actually thinking, was there anything else before?
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being cute.
No, everybody knows. I'm probably going to put in the fucking thumbnail and shit. Like, so finally, at last, after a million years of waiting, we finally got back to Bayonetta 3. This long trailer. I was so afraid, Michael, because it starts out with these military guys and they're shooting this big monster walking down the street, and the monster looks like it could be one of the angels from Bayonetta, but maybe not. And I'm wary about getting my hopes up. Like, I was worried that this was going to be Shin Megami Tensei warriors from the Omega Force or something like that.
That was actually my first thought when you were mentioning that. I'm like, yeah, I could have seen this as an announcement for like a Shin Megami RPG or something.
Or what was that? This is Devil's Fourth.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Or some other bullshit, because Nintendo has... I have been waiting for Bayonetta for so long, and Nintendo has been like, we can't make them go any faster. We have
that's
to wait
not
for
on
them.
us. We can't make them appear like that.
But nope, we did this. A bunch of dudes, they try to blow up this angel. It doesn't work. And then fucking Bayonetta jumps in her new costume. And it's great. It looks like a lot of Bayonetta. She's got these kind of like braids built into her costume now. Got a slightly different hairstyle. Do we know? Has there been any confirmation? Because last week I was talking about
the voice actress thing.
The voice actress thing.
I don't know. Actually, I was going to ask you about that.
I hadn't read anything. I hadn't seen anything in the articles when I went through it. It might be by the time this goes up, there might be more news, but.
The thing is, I've never played Bayonetta enough to like have her voice memorized.
Yeah.
So when she speaks in this, I'm just like, I don't know if this is different or not.
Well, and then everybody knows that I'm fucking terrible at recognizing voice performances.
Yeah.
Yep, she comes out. She's doing a bunch of Bayonetta shit, fucking slinking around in her dumb outfit with tri-barrel ridiculous guns, doing flips, kicking ass, winking at the camera. I mean, this is just more Bayonetta, and I am not dissatisfied with the fact that this is just more Bayonetta.
Yeah, it's some Bayonetta-esque Bayonetta, which is not a bad thing.
Fuck no. It looks like there's some kind of new stuff going on. This little, this kind of like little powers down in the corner of the UI. It looks really clean. I really like the way that it looks.
I just hope it runs well. Is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, me too. That's one of the only things that the Switch sometimes can get a little overwhelmed by some stuff.
1 and 2 is on the Switch by this point, right?
Yes. Yep. They put out the 1 and 2 pack for the Switch. In fact, I don't think that was the version that Amanda and I played when we did a sequential for Bayonetta. But it is out on the Switch. This trailer looks great. It looks like more. I've been waiting for so long, and the only thing I could say is, yep. That's Bayonetta, all right.
Yeah. People are really excited, like, because you said they've been waiting a very long time.
Yep. There's this giant kind of kaiju fight at the end, which is a little different, kind of interesting. It's kind of like summoning giant hair monsters to fight other monsters, which looks pretty cool. I swear to God, there's one point where it's just the fucking lava spider from Devil May Cry is in there. It's just like
that's what was my thought, because he even has the fucking scorpion tail thing that he does.
Yeah, like, that's just the fucking lava spider from Devil May Cry.
Literally just that boss.
He's there to talk shit to.
His design looks almost the same too.
To Dante, yeah. Maybe that's the secret crossover. Maybe it's the time for the secret Bayonetta Devil May Cry crossover.
Does that mean Bayonetta as a series is a prequel to Devil May Cry 1?
God, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, you know, she's all about fighting them angels, and that other guy's a demon. They should hook up.
Fights demons, yeah.
If it, I'm not going to go more into it. Anyway, looks good, sounds good. So happy that Bayonetta's back. I was saying before that, like, a lot of times I have. I'm very critical of Nintendo from time to time, but like, hey man, they showed Bayonetta 3 and I'm getting a new Metroid game before the year is over. Like, have as many Kirby games as you want, Nintendo. You've made me happy today. I'm fine.
I like how you say it like Kirby is like the worst thing ever, and not the weird ass announcements for other like weird games no one cares about.
Yeah, you know. They've always got to be doing something that I don't give a shit about, whether it's Yoshi or Kirby or like.
See, what if Chris Pratt was Kirby though?
I don't even know what that looks
Him
like.
just saying Poyo.
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea. Yeah. So that was Nintendo Direct. A lot of you know, they did do this thing at the end where they put up 2022 and then the guy slashes through it. There's this silhouette of
it just looks like fucking Virgil.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you,
a Ghost Rider jacket.
It's Devil May Cry crossover, baby. Or maybe it's not. God, what if
maybe
it is?
Sparta. Yeah, I don't know.
What if it fucking is? How crazy would that be if it was like halfway through this game, Dante and Virgil show up?
I wouldn't put anything past that guy, to be honest.
That would be crazy. But I was so mad because when they slashed the 2022, I thought that it was going to be like 2021. I was like, oh, why would you do that?
Fuck with you, Jeff. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Nintendo Direct. So there you go.
Yeah.
A little something for everybody. Whether you're mad about the movie or you're happy about Kirby or you're mad about Kirby and happy about N64 games, you're mad about N64 games but happy about Bayonetta.
Or if you're just fapping to Bayonetta at the end. You know, we don't judge you.
Mad about Bayonetta but happy that Sakurai is going to be presenting something, or mad about the Sakurai presentation but happy about Animal Crossing. I mean, the internet only has two things that it feels, and surely there's something in here to make you both mad and happy. So,
yeah.
Mappy. Bring back Mappy. There's a new HD remake of Mappy. That's what's going on. So, yeah.
Mappy.
But guess what? That ain't it.
Go on.
Well, no, that's it for Nintendo.
Oh, you mean this news?
But like other things happened last week, so like we ain't done yet. Fortunately, when I was doing this, I was bringing up stories, and I was like, "Oh man, there's not very many news stories." I hope that Nintendo part takes us through most of the podcast, and yes, it has taken us through most of the podcast. But that doesn't mean that we don't have any other crazy shit. So. The U.S. government is now involved with Activision Blizzard.
Oh, my God.
And Bobby Kotick. The Securities and Exchange Commission is now doing a direct investigation into Activision Blizzard and has subpoenaed Bobby Kotick to appear before them. This is one of those shareholder things. So this is like... I think I've talked with you about this before, where this is one of those, like, you have to divulge the things that are happening in the company to your shareholders so that they don't get blindsided if the stock goes down. So, like, if there's going to be an internal investigation, you have to tell the shareholders that in order so they can make decisions about whether they want to hold on to the stock or not, because they literally have an investment in the company. You can't just run the company blindly.
So this is about them, like, finding out about this at the last minute kind of thing.
Yes, I think from a lot of this, it seems like the gist of this is, did Activision Blizzard suppress this information from, or did they keep this information from their stockholders, leading to a situation where the stock could be affected?
Yeah.
And they were supposed to reveal these things to the stockholders. That appears to be the general gist. This is kind of complicated, but they also came out and they made a statement saying that they're, I mean, you could fight the state of California, but you don't fight the SEC.
No.
You're not like, we think that this is government overreach, and fuck yourself, SEC. We're burning documents on live stream right now. Like, you don't do that with the SEC.
No.
So
this is going to be a bad time for Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. They came out with a statement saying there's absolutely no place in our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. While we continue to work in good faith with regulators to address and resolve past workplace issues, we also continue to move ahead with our initiatives to ensure that blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's super great. We fixed everything. Literally last week, there was a story about how that Wilmer Hale company is using the social media policy that people sign in their contract to try to keep people from discussing the internal workings from each other, or like what they say, like they're monitoring people's social media accounts. Like they say all this shit, but like there is no situation where a company actually does the right thing.
No.
Doing the wrong thing made them money. So doing the right thing will make them less money and make it more difficult for them to run the company, and they desperately do not want that to happen. So they want to do the minimum humanly possible to make people shut the fuck up and forget that this happened, and that is what they are doing. In this case, of course, you cannot ignore the SEC because you just can't. But that's the latest with Activision Blizzard. Huzzah. They also put out some stuff where they talked about internal changes that they've made, but a lot of it comes into like more resource training, and
instead of Bobby Kotick getting a gold toilet, he's going to get a silver one instead.
That's right.
Different.
I think it's going to be really interesting. I haven't looked at it yet, but like that Diablo 2 remaster came out, and I'm wondering how it sells. I'm wondering if this affects the sales numbers, or if maybe people are just like, this is the last nail in the coffin for Blizzard shit, with people just sick. I can see a very clear thing, because I kind of fall into this camp where people are just like, Blizzard has been on a downhill slope for like 3 or 4 years now.
100%.
And Activision seems like they don't want to do anything except for make Call of Duty. Like, they only want to make Call of Duty. They're making Toys for Bob make Warzone content, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like, they only want to make Call of Duty, and they want it to be the biggest thing. And like, as somebody who not interested in Call of Duty, it's like, well, now that you only make one game that I don't give a shit about, you're pretty easy to ignore, Activision.
Yeah.
And Blizzard hasn't made anything worth playing since Overwatch 1 came out. Like
we saw our Overwatch 2 still a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's still a thing, but one of the other stories that we got is that the executive producer for Overwatch 2 has left Blizzard.
Jesus Christ.
So, y'all might remember, this is Chaco Sunny, executive producer on Overwatch.
That's not a real name.
That's has decided to leave, and they're like deciding just to go off and kind of not do anything, take a break from the gaming industry, so to speak.
Yes, that's a good time to do that. Yes.
Y'all might remember that 5 months ago, Jeff Kaplan left Blizzard, the guy that like made Overwatch, the whole thing. So
yeah,
things aren't looking good for Overwatch 2.
No, well, just the Blizzard in general. Like, they haven't been, like you said, they've been on a downward spiral for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think this was, I want to say Activision hadn't even fully purchased them by that point.
Yeah, I mean the last thing they put out was Overwatch, and then
merged.
since then it's been what, WoW Classic, World of Warcraft 3 Reforged,
And everyone hated both of
which
those.
was terrible. Yeah, as I understand it, WoW is losing subscribers to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 14 just being like, oh shit, there's too many people here.
Yeah, Overwatch has been tweaked and retweaked until it's not fun for casual players to play anymore.
Now,
so it's just a tournament thing.
And then there's the thing with McCree's name.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh, you guys are just Jesus. And that's we didn't even bring up the Taiwan thing.
Oh yeah. remember when Tracer's ass was a huge controversy?
Yeah,
having a character face backwards to the camera was like the biggest fucking thing.
There was that, and then Tracer being either gay or bi. I don't remember what they decided on.
Oh yeah,
that was a huge controversy.
Oh yeah,
for all of 10 seconds.
Tracer's got a girlfriend. Oh my god, I couldn't possibly play.
I can't fuck Tracer. I can't. Literally unplayable. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You obviously have not gone to Pornhub and typed in Overwatch because you can fuck Tracer. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, there's a whole category of the internet of just Overwatch porno.
Just reverses time or whatever she does.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about Overwatch where it's like, I remember like stumbling onto like there's like a few very specific people like women that the porno video game crossover scene is weird as fuck. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. Anyway, Chaco Sunny leaving Overwatch. It's
porn
great.
On the internet.
Great. Porn on the internet. Yep. Let's see. This was another interesting one. So last week we got the news that the Apple Epic lawsuit had kind of come to an end, or at least the first part of it had kind of come to an end. Most of Epic's demands, things that they wanted to happen, didn't happen. But the thing that did happen was that a judge said that Apple has to allow third-party payment processing on their platform. They cannot force all the payment processing to go through Apple directly.
Which is huge, to be honest.
Which is huge.
It's a huge blow to Apple.
But Tim Sweeney came out this week and basically said that Apple is going to be appealing this decision, obviously. And Apple has come out and said that they are not going to be restoring Fortnite to the Apple Store until this lawsuit is fully completed, which could be in 3 to 5 years. So that
could be indefinite for all we know.
Yeah. So essentially, Apple has decided that they don't like, and I kind of understand this, that like, you know, Apple had their nice tidy monopoly and then Epic like dragged them into court kicking and screaming and is literally like made a judge have a ruling that is changing their business model to where they're not going to get as much money.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, no, we're not going to reinstate, like, because part of the judge's ruling was that Apple is fully within their rights to like delist Fortnite, to remember how one of the other things that they did was they like removed all of the Epic programming, like the programmer like they had access to Apple programming APIs and tools and stuff like that.
Yeah, they turned
and
off
they
all
rescinded
that
shit. Well, they're just not turning any of that back on. They're just like, eat shit. Like you fucked us in court. Like we will consider whether to bring you back to the store once this whole thing is completed. We're not going to just put you back up there.
Yeah, so like Fortnite punched them in the balls and then tried to shake their hand afterwards.
Right.
They're like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Which, you know, I mean, Apple, like we talked about this when this originally came up, but Apple is, you know, they're a 500-pound gorilla in this case. Like they make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Like they make so much money that they can afford to just be like, no Fortnite.
No,
like we
don't care
selling our incredibly overpriced phones and
we're coming out with another iPhone.
Yeah,
that doesn't need to have Fortnite on it.
Yeah, so
we'll make our own Fortnite and call it Night Fort to fuck with you. You ain't gonna do shit.
just Tim Sweeney. Everybody looks like Tim Sweeney when they get shot. So yeah, if you were hoping to get Fortnite onto your phone, back on your phone, you were mistaken. Now,
good luck with that.
This will work out better in the long run, I don't know. I've never considered. I hate the closed ecosystem of Apple products, so I stay away from them as much as possible.
The issue with the iOS is that, in general, is that iOS is the biggest, is a huge market. I don't even mean biggest because it's not actually the biggest phone market. It's just that it's such a huge unified market that it's easy to develop for.
Yeah,
it's easy to make sales for it because of that reason.
Sure.
Because sure, everybody has an Android phone for the most part, but they're very difficult to make stuff for because they're so different. And so it's much easier to make money off of Apple things. That's why I think that's the theory why that Castlevania game ended up on the Apple Arcade.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing, because it's like, oh, well, we tried doing it on Android and we just didn't think we were having a good time with this, so everything's on Apple now. It's
developed for a unified platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a huge blow to them.
It is.
It's a huge blow to all the 10-year-olds who were playing Fortnite on these things. But
I think it's a huge blow to their parents, because now that this is known, it's just gonna be like, Mom, I want an Android. Can I get a Pixel? I want a Pixel. I want something that'll play Fortnite. Like, kids don't give a fuck about the ethical ramifications of the monopoly, de facto monopoly of this tech giant. They just want to fucking play Fortnite, for God's sake.
That's kind of the reason I don't think this worked out for Epic.
Yeah,
they tried to get public support behind them, but then they forgot that most of the people behind them are like teenagers. And they have no power.
Very true. Very true. And on that happy note, this is the new format. We're taking another break.
Yes, the happy note is teenagers have no power.
Teenagers have no power. Chew on that, teenagers. We'll be back with the rest of the news in just a moment. And we're back. Wow, that's weird. It's the second and we're back. Yeah. All the teenagers have tuned out. So, welcome back, adults. This is the final stretch. Just
this
you,
is the Adult Swim. Yeah,
just me and all those minion Karens. Just this is the official podcast of Karens with minions, Minierans.
That's gonna be your Tinder.
Kinions.
Minion.
Yeah. I'm looking for a MILF that's into minions. That's my dating profile. Seeking minion MILFs.
Really into bananas.
All right, next up on the news parade, there's not this silly topic.
Jesus Christ.
Twitch is trying to get their copyright shit under control by signing a deal with the music industry that isn't specific to it doesn't specifically give users any tools, but it gives the record companies the ability to let me just read what they said here. Both NMPA, which is the Music Association, and Twitch are creator-focused, and our respective communities will greatly benefit from this agreement, which respects the rights of songwriters and paves the way for future relationships between our publisher members, songwriters, and the service. Through our discussion, Twitch has shown a commitment to... Okay, that's not what I was talking about, but basically, instead of auto DMCAing everything that it finds, apparently these tools are able to give music producers the ability to just turn that shit off so that it doesn't automatically happen. So that, I don't know, maybe if you were having a big conference and Metallica was playing, and Metallica could be allow our music to be played on this Twitch channel so that Twitch doesn't take the Metallica music and put some bullshit placeholder over it,
or nothing at all.
Or I don't know, maybe if you're showing the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, you can turn off the you can get the fucking 80s bands to let you show that so that it's not, because at this point it's not just the individual users, it affects the companies that are broadcasting announcements on their platform.
God, that Square Enix fucking thing was the most jarring thing ever.
Yeah,
because you're watching these fucking the Avengers trailer was it's this epic thing, but it's just the sound of really weird punches and jumps and stuff. You're this is really fucking weird.
Yeah, it is. I want to go back on record, though, as saying that I think this is 100% in total. I fucking hate the way that music rights work online. I get, hey, man, did you make a song? I believe that you should get paid for it. But if somebody took your song and put it in the background of a video game and then I play that, I don't believe that you should have such ironclad control that you're able to just fuck with any time that song comes up. It's really irritating to me because background music is a thing. Everything has background music.
Yeah.
And the idea, and in a lot of cases, I've gotten YouTube, not strikes, but YouTube copyright claims from the artist that made this instrumental backing track that is behind the game. And it's just this is supposed to just be in the background, and like taking it out makes it sound weird, and leaving it in means that you get to just be like, you're broadcasting my music, you pirate radio station. And it's like, no, I don't know. I fucking hate this shit. I think that I don't think they should have this level of control over that sort of
online
thing.
music in general, or like just the control of online music on anything is ridiculous because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And no one has any good ideas on what to do that doesn't involve hiring 1 billion people to go over claims.
Yes.
Kind of thing. It's just, there's not an easy answer, and I don't know what it's going to be.
We'll move this microphone. I am real paranoid.
No, it's okay.
Moving Michael's microphone around.
But yeah, the thing about music, it's because it's not like a TV show or whatever where you set up a set of rights. What is it called? The broadcasting rights?
Yeah.
And then you don't have the rights in the release or whatever. That has happened to a lot of different shows. Like, because with online, it's like, well, this is tied to this game, and it's not like they're going to re-release this game anytime soon with it not being there. And even if they did, you're just going to claim the other fucking song anyways. It's frustrating. Like, it's just music rights in general are stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I hate them. But a lot of that is because I've hated the music industry for a long time. Like, I hate the way that the music industry does business with artists. I hate the level of control. I hated all that when they first started all the DMCA bullshit, because they were all like, if Napster's a thing, no artist will ever make any money. And it's like, you've been robbing artists for years.
Yeah.
Like, just robbing them blind of shit for years. I was listening to a podcast where I was listening to the way that like advances work. So it's like a record company gives an artist an advance, and then that advance, like the record that comes out, has to cover that advance before the artist starts making any money. So it's like if they gave you a $10,000 advance, you have to sell $10,000 worth of profit for the company that has to be paid back before you start making any additional royalties after that. But generally speaking, those contracts are for like, you signed a 6 album deal. So it's like continuous over those 6 albums. So like if the first album tanks and you only made back $3,000, you still owe $7,000 on the next album before you actually start getting any money back from the things that you've done. Like, it's fucking insane, like the way that the music industry works. And so then the idea that I don't know, it seems like they're just ruining everybody's fun for money, and I don't know, I guess we just keep letting them do it because
it's the same for everything nowadays. Like everything is being ruined for the sake of money, whether it's that watching certain things on YouTube, like just the smallest things. Even people's own music is getting fucked over by these things. I don't know, it's frustrating. Like, again, there's no easy answer, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating.
I agree. Let's see. Speaking of things that don't make any sense, there was a rumor last week that is true. Quantic Dream is making a Star Wars game. So, Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, that Quantic Dream is making a fucking Star Wars video game.
Didn't he, anger the internet not that long ago?
David Cage?
Yeah.
Yep. That whole company has been embroiled in a huge amount of controversy with, that apparently it's a real brotastic place, a lot of kind of he's
homophobic as hell.
Yeah, homophobic, sending pornography to people, and just general bad behavior. But apparently, they're also making a Star Wars game, so
sure.
And apparently, it's different.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
Well, part of this was also that it's different than anything that Quantic Dream has ever made before, where it's supposed to be like an action game, like an actual, not a narrative press X to Jason game.
Well,
but
press X to C-3PO, Jeff. Right. That's the difference.
But apparently it's supposed to have actual action and kind of be like a fucking adventure action game.
There better still be a button that you hit that just goes 3PO, 3PO. We're trying to find him in Bespin.
I want the level where you play as Darth Vader and you just hit a button to go no, just whatever you want.
It's going to be that one where turns out the twist is that you were Darth Vader the whole time.
That's right. Yeah. This is real weird.
It's super fucking weird.
It's real fucking weird.
There's no other really way to say it. It's really weird as shit.
Yeah. Of all the companies in the world that could be making a Star Wars game, this is the last one that I would have thought.
It shows how much EA fucked up that their license thing.
Yes.
Thing they had, that the fact that now Quantic Dream can just make a Star Wars game.
They had like 3 or 4 year exclusivity deal, and then when that shit went up, it was just like Ubisoft's making one, Quantic Dream is making one, like everybody's making Star Wars.
They made like 3 games at most.
It was like Battlefront
1
2,
and 2, and the Star Wars
the
flying thing.
Squadrons.
Did they make Jedi Order?
Yeah. Well, Jedi Fallen Order was published by EA, but it was created by Respawn, right?
Oh, okay.
Who works under EA.
I guess that's 4. I count that. So they made 4 of them. So, but only like a few of those did well without controversy.
I'd be willing to bet that even the Battlefront games sold well enough. Like they weren't just abject failures, but they obviously were. Like you expect. I don't know. I guess that in the last few years, Star Wars has become such a weird minefield. Like.
The second one didn't sell as well, and I know that so well because my PS4 Pro is a Star Wars Battlefront 2 one.
Oh,
and it was it was essentially like on sale when I got it, even though it was like the more expensive version of a PS4. Because they were just trying to get rid of them. Like they're like, no one wants to get this because it comes with Battlefront 2. And they feel weird about it, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. Give me that thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that happened. That's kind of strange. Speaking of Respawn, we had a little bit of a flip-flop last week. So let's see. Respawn's community manager, Jason Garza, was hosting a live stream and was asked about Titanfall, which I'm sure he gets asked about all the fucking time, which he basically responded by saying, don't get your hopes up, man. I've said this before. We don't have anything in the works. There's nothing there. We've got too many other games in the works right now, which is pretty, like, I have to feel for anybody that works for Respawn, because I'm sure it's just like, when's Titanfall 3? I want more Titanfall. And they're just like, no, we're not doing that. And like,
you
no,
didn't buy Titanfall 2. I'm sorry,
but Titanfall. So you would think that's a pretty definitive statement, right? What I just said.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then not that long after that, like I don't know, a day after that, Respawn posted on Twitter, contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? ... So
that's them saying, we keep hearing you guys want to give us money,
right?
So maybe.
Yeah, it seems really weird because it seems like Titanfall, like a Titanfall 3 with a story campaign and then a big online mode, would probably sell really well, especially if they kind of folded Apex into it, like Warzone. Almost.
Probably, yeah.
But that they don't wanna either that, or EA is just telling them what to do. Is like,
it's most likely EA's is telling them what to do, or B, they're so focused on Apex as well as just some new ideas that they might have.
Yeah,
but they just don't have time for an idea for Titanfall yet.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they may be making a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. They may be making just Jedi Fallen Order 2.
It's going to be called Titanfall Order Jedis or whatever. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to fuse those 3 together.
Going back, we had a kind of a heartwarming story last week about Deltarune, we mentioned during the Nintendo conference. So Deltarune Chapter 2 came out, and Toby Fox was asked about why it was free. Also, it totally crashed itch.io.
Oh, really?
The first one did too, but
it did. Yeah.
The second one came out. Itch.io was like, "Yep, you guys crashed the website. We're trying to get it back up." But he talked about it, and I love this quote because he said, "The world has been really tough for everybody recently, so I decided to release Deltarune Chapter 2 for free. I guess like a pet cat that drops bugs at your doorstep, I can, with some pride, show you the weird things I've been doing. I'm not sure if it'll help, but I hope so." So
I really like that guy a lot.
Yeah.
He made these things on his own. He made these soundtracks on his own. The first time I ever saw something he made, actually the thing is I was shown it, I think before Undertale became huge, was his weird Earthbound mod thing he came out with, which is one of the most like teenager trying to be edgy as hell things I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
But it was the first time he ever used that Megalovania song that he made.
Okay.
Was in that Earthbound mod. And then he ended up using it again after that in this webcomic that people really liked. I forget the name of it.
Is that Homestuck?
Yeah, Homestuck.
Yeah.
They let Homestuck use it, and they made a version of that.
Right.
And then it ended up in Undertale. And so, yeah, he's been just trying to make these games just on his own for the fuck of it since he was like a teenager, which I think is very fascinating.
Yeah. However, we did have more news where he basically said that they're now working on chapters 3, 4, and 5 of Deltarune, but those are going to cost money. Like the chapter 1, chapter 2. I believe chapter 1 was free, right?
Yeah, chapter 1 was free. And it came out of nowhere. Like it just popped out in fucking nowhere.
It seems like chapter 2 might have been originally thought of that it was going to be sold for money, but then he was like, everybody's having a hard time here, have chapter 2.
That makes sense, first taste is free originally.
Yeah. But then he has this quote on this blog that he wrote where he says, I don't know the price yet, but it's definitely going to cost more than Undertale, talking about the entirety of Deltarune. Yeah. So next time you want to ask, when's chapter 3, you can ask, when can I buy chapter 3/4/5? I'll give you a lot of money, which I think is really good.
That's a fun answer.
Yeah. Seems like a nice dude, nice person. So, yeah. I mean, I should try. I've never even played Undertale, let alone Deltarune. So.
Undertale 1 is a very fascinating game. Like, it's the way it plays out is just... It was one of those games that, like, the twist of it is just... It's kind of like the way Spec Ops is, kind of thing, where it's just like, oh, you don't have to do what you did, kind of thing, that sort of thing. Like, it's been a long time, guys, so it's fine if I feel like at this point if I say it.
Well, plus, I mean, like, I haven't played it, but I already know that's a thing. I mean, the whole pacifist run thing.
But Deltarune is from what I only played a little bit of the first one. I tried getting through it, but I didn't have time at the time. Is from what I can tell, is a different beast. So, but it is somewhat of a sequel to Undertale, somewhat.
Okay. Let's see. From there, we got the news that Crystal Dynamics is being brought in to work on the new Perfect Dark game.
That's weird.
So the Initiative, which was the Xbox game studio that was working on this Perfect Dark game, put out a tweet where they said, Perfect Dark update. We are partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the world-class team behind character-driven games such as Tomb Raider, to bring this first-person spy thriller to a new generation.
They're going to add Gex to it.
I'm wondering why they mentioned Tomb Raider and not Marvel's Avengers, like the Crystal Dynamics character action game, right?
They should have mentioned Gex, is all I'm saying. They made Gex. Don't be ashamed of Gex, Crystal Dynamics.
It seems really weird considering we haven't heard anything, and that the Initiative is like a full game studio that they're bringing in, like Crystal Dynamics, a whole fucking other game studio to do work on it.
It's a weird choice, yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of times we'll see smaller studios get brought in, but like Crystal Dynamics is making that Avengers, like they're continuing to work on Avengers. Like they're not, it's not they're just sitting around like, well, we finished the best Marvel game of all time. What should we do next, guys? I don't know. Let's go work with those guys on that Perfect Dark game. It's a weird announcement.
Maybe they just like loaned out their janitor or something, but they still had to make the announcement.
Or maybe the Avengers is losing so much money that they had to like section out 30% of their staff to go do headhunting work for another company in order to keep the shit
Impossible,
together.
Jeff. The Avengers is a $1 billion industry that people are not getting sued over in any shape, way, or form.
Yeah. No, the Avengers game is everybody's game of the year 2020. I don't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It worked from day one with all of no issues whatsoever.
Have you watched that What If show?
Of course.
I didn't even bother starting it. How is it? I heard mixed.
Well, that's what it is. It's a mixed bag. But it's the way. Like my explanation is, if you were a fan of What If comics, you'll be a fan of the show because What If comics were also mixed as fuck,
right?
Kind of thing. Like it's just that's what it is. Like you'll watch one and you're like, that wasn't that all that interesting, and then you watch another, and I'm like, that was really cool. Yeah. And you watch one and you'll be like, that was dumb as fuck, but I kind of had fun with it, kind of thing. Like the last one was super fucking dumb.
Is that the zombies one? Or was that after the zombies one?
No, this was definitely after the zombies. The last one was what if Thor was an only child? So like, what if if they didn't adopt Loki, and so he didn't learn lessons from having to deal with Loki. So now he was just a dude, bro. And he's like, I want to party while my mom is gone and my dad's in Odin sleep. And so he goes to Earth and just throws this giant fuck off party.
That sounds fun.
And it's fun as hell. And it's dumb as shit, but because it culminates in the fact that like at the end it's just like, well, what do we do about it? And it's like, well, we'll call his mom. And it's just this fun whole thing of him trying to be like, oh shit, my mom's coming. Like it's just a fun episode.
Okay.
And like some people were like, that was dumb. I'm like, yeah, it was dumb as hell, but it was great. And that's the thing about What If is that What If comics were very much like that. Sometimes they were really serious and sometimes it was really stupid.
All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, What If is a super mixed bag, so yeah.
Another mixed bag for a lot of people on the internet in gaming is Counter-Strike. And this is really weird. I never thought that I would be talking about this because CSGO has just been like a thing. But there was a huge update for CSGO that added a whole bunch of new stuff. It added some community maps. I didn't actually realize this, but apparently like there was the default of Counter-Strike previously was best out of 16.
Okay.
So you would play 16 rounds, and then whoever won, or you would put first team to win 16 rounds would win the match. But they've added a new shorter length match where you do 9. So best out of 9. They've added some changes to the weapons. They've added some changes to the maps. They were talking about how like they've reworked Dust 2 so that there's not as easy of a sight line from the attackers directly onto the defenders, so that they can't just like mop them up. They've adjusted it's so weird to be talking about this in 2021. It's like they adjusted the Desert Eagle so it does less body shot damage, and I'm like, that's fucking, I was playing a Desert Eagle in Counter-Strike like 10 years ago, man. Like
that's being generous too.
Yeah. So there's a big update for Counter-Strike. I'm sure you already know, but have you played Counter-Strike at any point in the last decade?
No, fuck no.
I haven't either. I wonder if it's playable or if it's just, I feel like all first-person shooter online games eventually calcify into this thing where it's like you got to be playing the meta, and if you're not doing exactly the thing you're supposed to be doing, everybody just yells at you, and then you're like, okay, well, that's not fun, I'm leaving.
It most likely is one of those type, especially because, like I said, there hasn't been a really new Counter-Strike anything for quite some time.
Yeah. Dude, what if they put out a new Counter-Strike with the Steam Deck? It's like Counter-Strike 2.
Counter-Strike versus Valve or whatever.
Yeah. We also got, I don't know, this is just for fun. I thought you might like this more. I didn't really know all that much about it, but apparently Xbox is letting you bring back your gamer pick.
Yay. I was Spider-Man one from Marvel's Capcom 2.
Well, apparently if you're in the Alpha Skip Ahead program, the first avatar now in your list will be essentially a redone version of your gamer pick. If I'm not mistaken here, this is like you used to have your game avatar guys, what were they? The Drivatars, what were they called in the Xbox?
They're just called Xbox avatars. They didn't have fancy names.
And then like you would get little shit that you could like put a shirt on them from a game. You get an achievement and you would get some shit.
The 360 used to have shit tons of them. Like they made new versions of the avatars.
Yeah.
But their store for it is really small. Like before, every time a game came out, they used to just be like, "Oh, you want this fucking Injustice Superman outfit? Here you go." Kind of like just
here's a Normandy that flies around your guy.
Yeah, exactly. There was a Duke Nukem Forever set of avatar items at the time. Like the avatar system made them a lot of money from what I remember. And then in the new one, people just they don't really show up as much and stuff, because in the old one they actually would show up in games and stuff.
Well, plus
like
I remember
they used them a lot. They did the 1 versus 100, that Doritos race track thing or whatever they did.
I also remember if you went to your friends list, it would just be like everybody's Xbox avatar was there.
Or you look at it now, you barely ever see them unless you click on them, and then it might. And if they have it to display them, you might see them. And
then the gamer picks were basically like taking a screenshot of your avatar to use as your avatar.
You could. You still like on the 360. You still had your picks, because that was another thing they used to make shit tons of, were like the gamer picks for like movies that were coming out and stuff. Like that used to just be a free thing that you could get. Like when Wolverine came out, you could get a free Wolverine avatar thing, and like just a pick that was like Wolverine Origins in theaters now or whatever.
Okay,
kind of thing. Whereas, so you could if you wanted to, but on the new one now, it's mostly just that and like a handful of select ones.
Yeah,
for the most part. But it's like, so the thing is that like there just isn't as much choice in your customization as there used to be on the Xbox Series X as it was on the 360.
As I understand it from reading this article, I believe that it said that like the previous pictures, the actual avatar pictures, were so low resolution that they looked like garbage if you tried to put them into the new one.
That's why you just didn't bother using them.
And so that's what this is kind of set to fix. So there you go.
It's a lot of stuff, because you can still use your old 360 avatar. Like there's an option in the Series X and the Xbox One. It's like, you want to use the old one, but it doesn't really do anything for that, as far as I can tell.
Nice. Or bad. Or something. I don't know.
It's just, like I said, you don't see it anywhere the way you would on those old ones.
Yeah.
Because they used to be, like I said, really integral. They were basically Mii's that would be used in different things.
Right.
Where now they're just like, here's the thing, I guess, and it just does nothing. It's just there.
I remember that. I remember when they announced that they were revamping them and there was all these new, they looked like a lot better, but then, like you said, they don't use them in anything, and they aren't in the UI at all. Like they used to be, the UI had them all over the place. So, well, from there, let's talk about some trailers. We already talked about a lot of Nintendo trailers, but there were a couple other cool ones. Far Cry is almost out. There was a nice trailer they put out with Giancarlo Esposito as the bad dude in Far Cry 6 giving gameplay quote-unquote tips, and they're all just like talking about how useless it is to fight back against the tyrant guy and how you're a big stupid idiot if you do all these things. I let Michael see the part where he's talking about the squirt guns and rocket launchers. He's like, yeah, all the rocket launchers are just squirt guns. So if you try to fight an enemy, you're gonna look real stupid. What you should do is you point them at your friends and then shoot, and then they'll get hit with the squirt gun, and it'll be a funny joke. That's what you should do.
And it's still him in his very classic way of saying things, at least since the Breaking Bad time frame.
Yeah.
So it's just that much funnier because he's straight faced as hell about it.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is great. I'm not entirely sure. Still, I'm not entirely sure about Far Cry 6, but I'll take any excuse to talk sugar about Giancarlo Esposito. So
I don't know if I'm looking forward to it or not. Far Cry 5 did the same thing Assassin's Creed 3 did to me. Was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to see whether. Well, I mean, I'll be buying it. We'll be playing it on Rage Select.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not going to be like, we'll wait and see. Otherwise, we'll just play a bunch of indie Steam shit that nobody cares about. Yeah. We also got the next in the 7 Deadly Sins for Hitman 3. This is Envy. It's taking place on the Italy, I believe, map, the winery map. I don't remember where it was. And this was kind of interesting because in the whole like Envy thing, it's like there's another assassin that looks like kind of like Agent 47 that's trying to kill your targets before you can, and you have to kind of outdo them in assassination. It's kind of an interesting idea. I have not been a big fan of the 7 Deadly Sins thing. I wish that all the time and effort that they took to make these, they would have made just one new map. Like if they would have taken all the time they did with creating new assets and remixing and creating these game modes and just made one additional map, I would have rather paid for that than this expansion. But
I've debated finally playing 1 and 2 because now I have the space on my PS5 to download them on there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I may end up finally doing that.
They're so good. I love them so much. There's actually, I read this before. There's actually a controversy because Hitman 1 got put on GOG, and GOG very much fronts itself as being like no DRM, but Hitman has this thing where you have to be online or else you don't, your achievements and like the literal unlock of the game progression is only works if you're online. If you go offline, you don't have access to any of the gadgets or tools or starting areas or anything that you've unlocked. And you can't unlock anything if you are offline. You must be connected to IO servers in order to progress through those levels, like to get the achievements and to unlock things. For the life of me, I do not fucking understand why. Like, it's a horrible design. It's one of the only things that I have bad to say about Hitman because, like, you know, when Hitman 3 launched, the servers were all fucked. So transferring your progress was hard. So it was like, well, God damn it, guys. Like, you made me do this, and then you didn't even, like, and the way that you transferred it, it wasn't even like you just log into your PlayStation account, and it's like, oh, I see your rage select at gmail.com. Let me give you all your things. It was like you had to go to their website, you had to log in, you had to create a profile, then you had to like add your PlayStation ID and then like request a transfer, and it was this esoteric, horrible. It made the PS4 to PS5 shit look easy in comparison.
Jesus Christ.
Also, because it was so popular, they crashed the website, so you couldn't do it.
Oh, damn. I forgot about that, yeah.
And then they crashed the actual login servers the day that it launched, so you couldn't get access to the things you would unlocked in the previous 2 games in Hitman 3. For the life of me, I don't understand why they've done it, but other than that, fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic. Let's see. We got a launch trailer for Lost Judgment, which Amanda and I just got done recording some videos for. You'll be able to see those. Being that this is a Yakuza / Judgment style game, I think we managed to get into 2 fights in the 2 40-minute videos that we recorded.
That sounds about right, yeah.
I need to make room for this. I need to finish Kina and the Bridge of Spirits because I made the mistake of starting of hitting the X button on Death Stranding Director's Cut. and like before Michael came over today and I was waiting, I just like I loaded up every delivery to the wind farm at the beginning, and so I was carrying like way too much, and then like BTs were coming. I was like, oh yeah, I really like this game. And then I just started thinking about like, why do I like this game so much? Like, if you described what Death Stranding the game is to me and anybody else made it, I would have been like, that sounds stupid and I don't want to do it. But like for some reason, carrying a bunch of boxes to some dude's house is really fun when Hideo Kojima made it. And like I don't think that's just me being a fanboy of Kojima. Like, there's something weirdly satisfying about it. Anyway.
What's the thing is that, like you said, if anyone else made that game, if anyone else made the game about the DoorDash delivery guy in the apocalypse, you would be like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But then you play it and you see Conan O'Brien in an otter hat, and you're like, yeah, sure, this makes sense.
I forgot that, like, when you start that game, it doesn't actually lead you to Jeff Keighley's house. Like, he's the first person that you see. He's Ludin's fan in the first area, but you don't actually, there's no mission to go to his house. You just have to find cargo on the ground that is addressed to him and then just pick it up and take it back. And goddamn is Jeff Keighley. He wants to smooch Norman Reedus so bad. He's so in love with Sam Bridges. Like, he fucking loves that dude. Anyway, sorry.
Building them bridges.
Minecraft Dungeons is out on Steam. We got a trailer for that. It's got all 6 of the DLCs. I think I stopped playing at 3 DLCs, but there are 6 DLCs for this game.
You were OP as fuck. You're so fucking OP.
Well, it's a game for babies. It's Diablo for babies.
It is, yeah.
I could have played... Actually, no, that's not true. I was going to say I could have played it on a harder difficulty level, but that's not true because I was literally playing it on the hardest difficulty level, and it was still Diablo for babies.
Yeah, you walked into a room, and you were punching to the point that you healed as fast as you punched, and nothing could kill you.
Yep. I was definitely Muda-ing. But yeah, if you haven't played Minecraft Dungeons and you want something that's kind of Diablo-ish, it's fine. It's not going to be anybody's game of the year, but it's fine.
It's no Kirby.
It's no Kirby. I'm a lot more excited about the Corvus. This is that weird space sim game that was announced at the Xbox showcase last year, where it's like a lady with like weird writing on her face and she's flying around a spaceship fighting like a weird space cult or something. I'm getting really heavy like freelancer / Everspace vibes off of this, and that's a good thing. I like me a good space shooter, and this one looks very pretty and like it's got a lot of cool shit going on.
It looks really pretty. My only issue with the trailer is that it keeps talking about fighting for freedom every 20 seconds.
Well, there is that. They got to remind you what you're fighting for.
Yeah, freedom, Jeff.
You don't want to forget what you're fighting for.
Freedom to get your Loco Taco or whatever at 12 in the morning.
Yeah. Freedom of Taco Bell. Intergalactic Taco Bell. Let's see. We also got a 5-minute overview trailer for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This was kind of interesting in that it really did... My constant question for this game has been, how is this any different from the first game? Because a lot of what they've shown has just been like, put the dinosaurs in the place, build the place with the dinosaurs in it. But apparently the whole point of this one is that there are just wild dinosaurs out in the world. And so you're trying to essentially like find them and corral them and put them into preserves. And you can create like a theme park if you want. One of the modes is like running the original Jurassic Park or running Jurassic World, but there's also this kind of whole like going out into the wild to find and capture dinosaurs thing, which is pretty cool.
Put these dinosaurs in camps, Jeff. Stop them.
I mean, if it's so easy to create dinosaurs, one might think that instead of trying to humanely capture them, you just blow their fucking faces off. It's not like the world was in a dire strait when dinosaurs weren't around.
Yeah.
Like
they're going to end up like deer where they're fucking everywhere and you keep hitting the fucking velociraptor with your truck.
They're going to be like the fucking wild hogs. My kids are playing and now there's fucking 30 to 50 stegosaurs in my front yard. Get my gun.
It's going to get with those elephant guns for them.
Yep. It looks good, though. I'm sure Matt Frank is very excited. Very, very excited.
Possibly. I don't know if he has time for it, to be honest.
Well, that's true.
He's so busy.
Motherfucker needs to give himself a little bit of a break. I gave him a lot of shit, I think, this week on Metroid because he was like, yeah, I've been rewatching the 90s Godzilla cartoon. And I'm like, have you watched the latest Evangelion movie? I want to discuss it with somebody. And like you and Michael are the only ones who would watch it. And neither one of you will fucking watch it. And he's like, no, I'm busy rewatching this 90s Fox Kids TV show. I'm like, God damn it. Fuck. Yeah. In addition,
he really likes that series.
He really does.
It's good, though. It was a pretty good series.
We also we finally got a release date for The Good Life, which is that crazy sweary game where you're in like a real picturesque small town as a reporter, and it turns out everybody turns into like cats and dogs at night, and there's like a murder mystery, and it's really, really weird. Yeah. So we got an actual full-on announcement, full-on release date, which is October of this year. Actually, October 15th. So, but there's actually a slightly more story here, Michael, because I don't know if you've noticed, but have you taken a gander at the upvote to downvote ratio on this?
Oh, did not see that until now.
So this is a really difficult story that I'm not sure that I can do full justice towards because I just kind of like briefly read about it. But PlaySim, the company that's publishing this, recently had there was a YouTube personality, a YouTube lady that they kicked off of who was supposed to be the presenter for one of their live streams. They canceled the live stream and pushed it to redo it. The reason being that this YouTuber, people are pretty sure is also a VTuber that at some point mentioned Taiwan on a live stream, and so China is like, if that person is involved with this, we're gonna go up your ass about it. And that PlaySim has decided to take that person out of their live stream announcement thing to appease potential Chinese fervor. And so when you go down into the comments, there's a lot of like, hope that Chinese semen tastes good comments in this YouTube video.
Well, that sounds about right.
Which is a little weird, but I don't know, because I watched this trailer and I was like, I don't know, this seems like stupid swearing game, right? And then I went to the upvote downvote and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And apparently that's what's going on here. So on the other hand, this trailer got 24,000 hits on YouTube, so it's not exactly burning up the internet at the moment.
Yeah. It's not Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, it's a swearing game, right?
Yeah.
This is like, I don't know.
John Cena didn't, pop up and was like, Taiwan, guys.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that's the end of our trailers. And then, actually, we've got a few more things to say. This is such a fucking weird thing. This, I don't know, I'm kind of repeating myself here towards the end, but you remember that Netflix movie, Kate, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead? They're making a Kate video game. Netflix is producing this video game based on Kate. Now, the whole point of the movie Kate is this lady that's in Japan who's an assassin who gets basically poisoned and has 24 hours before she's going to die. And so she's trying to get her revenge in the 24 hours left she has to live. But they've made this weird roguelike where you have a certain time limit before you die, and it's this kind of isometric top-down thing where you have to run around and blast a bunch of people Hotline Miami style before you die of horrible radiation poisoning.
Huh.
It looks like a fairly competent video game. Like,
it looks fine. It's just it's very simplistic.
Yeah,
is the best way of putting it. Probably more so than a lot of those other games probably are.
Yep. And it's coming in October. It's
Steam game.
Really weird because I don't know. I guess it's like I watched Kate. It was okay. I don't know why anybody would watch it and be like, this is going to be the next big fucking thing. We need to do a full court press. But then I guess, how many Cobra Kai games have there been? There was like
it's at least 2 or 3, I think.
beat 'em up. There was like that weird card game on the phones.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, Netflix, for some reason, is just making these games. And they're never the same, which I think is the thing I find interesting about it. They're never just the same genre.
That Peaky Blinders game was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Played like the Desperados.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then the Stranger Things games they have as well. Like, none of them are the same.
We never even played the Dark Crystal Tactics game.
Oh, that's right. That was the game that came out. Yeah, they made a Tactics Dark Crystals game.
Yeah. Kind of weird. Let's see. We also got confirmation. This is so weird that this is a news story, but confirmation that at the DC Fandom event that's happening later this month, we will be seeing Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which was teased in a brief flashing montage of things that would be at the Fandom event. We also got the kind of key art for it that has the various characters standing around looking down at the camera. Yeah.
What I love about this game is that it's clear that they started making this game before a lot of things started happening.
Like the Harley Quinn show, or the Suicide Squad movies.
The Suicide Squad. The change in King Shark between the Harley Quinn show and the movie.
Yeah.
The fact that Deadshot is very prominent in general. Yeah, there's a lot has changed since they first started doing this, apparently.
I think the weird one to me is that I feel like through all of Suicide Squad, even pre reboot Suicide Squad, I don't understand why Captain Boomerang is a thing. He's stupid. He's a man with a boomerang. I don't understand why they keep trying to make him a thing.
Well, he was a Flash villain originally,
right?
But even then, that was kind of dumb because he throws boomerangs. But for some reason, Captain Boomerang became more of a Suicide Squad character than a Flash character ever since he started on Suicide Squad. Because I don't remember the last time the Flash has ever fought a Captain Boomerang at all, for that matter. Even when the Rogues all get together, they never bring Captain Boomerang into the fucking mix.
It's because he's stupid.
Yeah.
He throws a boomerang.
Like, the last time I remember him meeting with any of the Rogues was during Blackest Night, because they brought back... because during Blackest Night, you know, they have all the zombie type characters going on, and it turns out Captain Boomerang's dad, because this is technically like before the reboot happened, there were 2 or 3 Captain Boomerangs, and the latest one was like the young son of him. He was like feeding people to this Captain Boomerang zombie thing.
Okay.
And then Captain Cold finds out, and he's like, "The fuck, dude!" Like, and just fucking kills him.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's the last time I ever saw him interact with the Flash, and that was like 2007, maybe 2008.
Yeah, I think it's just very clear that Warner Brothers has no unified strategy. They're just fucking throwing shit at the wall, and every wall it has shit on it, and you're just seeing what sticks. So
good for them. I don't know. Like I don't even know if I'm excited for this game, and I don't even mean that in the fact that I don't like the Suicide Squad. It's just that, like, I would rather have a superhero game again that involves the Justice League that I can use them in, kind of thing. I don't know. It frustrates me.
It definitely feels like somebody at DC has a huge hard-on for the Suicide Squad, that they just keep pushing the Suicide Squad as a concept into things, and I would not be in the least bit. It would not surprise me in the least to hear anybody say, I'm kind of fucking sick of seeing Deadshot and Harley Quinn and King Shark and Captain Boomerang.
Well, I'm just annoyed with the fact that a lot of these characters are Batman characters again. Like, I'm not saying King Shark is, because I think King Shark again is a Flash villain. I don't even know. Whereas it's just that everything they want to make things on involve dark type ideas.
Sure.
And then anything involving the Justice League at this point, they're like, we still got DC Universe Online. That's still a thing, right? Just add another thing to it, I guess. Like, they just won't make a normal superhero game again that doesn't involve Batman or something dark in some way.
It also seems weird that DC has always seemed like it gets, you know, the DC universe is big, and they always seem to get hyper focused on these very select group of characters.
Yes.
Like, make a Dr. Fate game, make a Green Lantern game. Like, I know the Ryan Reynolds movie wasn't good, but Green Lantern is the perfect video game character.
Yeah,
like,
because they made a game based on that, you know, because of the movie.
Yeah,
and that did it was a rushed game, so of course it didn't do super great. Somebody tried to make an Aquaman game, and that didn't go so well. I get it from a standpoint when they're like, well, somebody tried and then they failed, but they don't let more people try different characters. Like, there's so many characters out there you can try something with, but then somebody comes in and like, I got another Batman idea. They're like, give that guy money, and then that fucking dude makes another Batman thing.
I guess it's kind of I mean, it's similar in Marvel, right? Because like, how many times do they just keep making Spider-Man? It's just true. Spider-Man, or Wolverine, right? Like, there's a million X-Men.
There was a time where there were only X-Men games being made for the most part.
Yeah,
and then maybe we would get something involving the Avengers or anybody else for that matter. But yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah. What about an adventure style game that is based on the Harley Quinn TV show?
I'd play
a point-and-click adventure game.
I'd play the shit out of that. I'd play that right now. Don't tease me with the idea of something that doesn't exist like that.
Made by, well, I was going to say made by
I'd play
Telltale.
an Uno-themed fucking Harley Quinn Suicide Squad, the Harley Quinn game, let alone like an actual Harley Quinn game. Yeah, I would love to play it.
When is that show coming back? There's got to be a new season, right?
They announced there's going to be a new season. Right now they're doing a comic book tie-in called the Harley Quinn... It's the Bang Tour or something like that.
Okay.
And what it is, it takes place directly after the ending of season 2.
Oh.
Where Harley and Ivy, she's like, well, I want to go on a trip with you, while they're being chased by Gordon.
Okay.
And so they're like, and it's really funny. Like, it's fucking batshit insane.
I love the Harley Quinn show, James Gordon. He's so great. Yeah,
there's this great moment in the comic because he's still chasing them. Like, he has a bug in their car, so he knows where they're going. And so as he's chasing them, like, he tries to kill them, and Batman shows up and is like, Jim, don't do this. Like, what if your daughter will think, because he has this grenade. He's like, there's other ways. And he's like, you're right. And then he pulls his gun out and starts firing at him. And he's just like, God damn it. And it's just so much. It's so much fun. There's only 2 issues of it have come out so far.
Okay.
It's really fun. I think it's, I don't remember the full name of it, but it basically is like, it's a horny as hell comic. Is I'm going to outright say that. Like, okay. But it's really funny.
Okay.
So far.
Phasmaphobia has gotten a big update for its 1-year anniversary, including a single-player offline mode.
Interesting.
Which, as near as I can tell, I've never played Phasmaphobia.
I didn't even know it had been out for a year. I just found out about this thing within the past, 3 months.
Well, it started as a VR-only game, right? And then they put out a non-VR version, and then it became a big Twitch thing. And then now you can play it by yourself, which actually, this makes me more interested in actually playing this, because it means that I can try it offline without disappointing everybody as I try to figure out what the fuck is going on. So
it's the kind of game that I like the idea of it, but I just don't have any of the equipment to play a game like that.
Yeah, I have a gaming PC. Well, you don't need a game PC to play the Sea of Thieves Season 4 that has started, where apparently you're going to be going underwater. You're going to be doing about a lot of scuba stuff on the bottom of the ocean in Season 4, which is kind of interesting. Maybe a reason to reinstall Sea of Thieves. And lastly, got a few fun things. Here's, I thought this would be of interest to you, Michael. Apparently, the folks that did the Street Fighter 30th anniversary thing really, 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 really want to remaster Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to the point where they basically, this news story is this company that did the Street Fighter 30th anniversary or whatever it was.
Digital Foundry. They're very well known.
Digital Eclipse.
Is Digital Eclipse? Sorry, I accidentally said Foundry. Yeah, Digital Eclipse. They're very well known for having re-released some stuff, because they also did the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Yes.
Which is why people are very excited, because that means they already have a pre-existing relationship with Disney.
And Capcom.
Yes, and Capcom. So it's like, ooh, hopefully, because this all started because of a YouTuber by the name, I don't even know if this is the start of it, but I know this because I follow this guy named Maximilian. The Maximilian dude was his YouTube.
Oh
name.
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
And he started basically making this hashtag that's basically just called Free Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Free MVC 2.
Right.
And he's doing all these videos about him playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because he's just like, for the love of God, we want this to be on something again that we can play online and easily accessible, because the last time this came out was on the 360 PS3, but
it's been delisted at this point.
Yeah, it got delisted ages ago.
Yeah.
Like, I still have it technically on my 360, but I don't use my 360 for anything kind of thing. So it's like, people want to be able to play these games again, and all they're asking for is just Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, there's plenty of games I would love in that genre to come back. Like, I'd love for them to come out with the X-Men one, the X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, 2, Marvel Superheroes kind of thing. Like, I would love all of those to be in like one giant fucking package, but the last time you could buy them were those arcade cabinets that they've come out with, those recent ones.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of them, but those
kind of prefab ones.
Yeah, they make two of
expensive.
them. They make two of them. The one comes with X-Men Mutant. I forget the name of it. X-Men
Children of the
Atom.
Yeah.
And then I think Marvel Superheroes and maybe Marvel's Capcom 1. And then there's another one that's Marvel's Capcom 2. And then I think X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Like, it's weird because they're like even separate there too.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, people just want to play these fucking games.
Right. Well, it's funny because this Mike Mika, who's the head of Digital Eclipse, there's this quote down here where he says, they talked about kind of doing an investment pitch, and they said, I didn't know what I was getting into. I can't even read my public email or any of my Twitter DMs without having to sift through hundreds of #free MVC2 messages from people, which is amazing. But it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, people want the Marvel's Capcom 2 is one of the most beloved fighting games of all time, because it has such a huge roster of some of the most recognizable characters in history.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if there was anybody who would be stupid enough to turn down a big chunk of money, Disney and or Capcom would be towards the top of that list. So,
well, the main thing is that some people think the reason why it's so difficult is that after Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, like the relationship might not be as strong as it was before.
I see.
Because they had a hard time. Like, if you watch the what happened for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, there's a lot of background talk of like they had a really hard time just getting them to say okay for certain characters.
Sure.
Like, they would ask them about people and not hear anything for like weeks, only for them to be like, no, that's fine, and then just have to deal with it.
Okay. And then last but not least, we got a few quick things. This is funny. There was a Guilty Gear Strive character that was playing a tournament online, and there was literally like an earthquake, like a small earthquake, but an earthquake. This is in it was like California that happened while this was going on, and then the guy like gets out of his seat and tries to get closer to the floor, and the whole time he's just like, "There's a fucking earthquake! There's a fucking earthquake!" And he still like won the match.
Yeah, you can see like this camera shaking a lot.
Yeah. Which is pretty funny.
That's amazing. I love when weird shit like that happens, and it's so rare for something weird like that to be a thing.
Yeah. At the end, he's just like, "Man, I'm on fire today. Fuck that. I won even though there was an earthquake." So
he did it really well because he had a huge health bar there, which is pretty cool.
Let's see. I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know exactly how this works, but there was this message. There was this thing on Kotaku that indicates that like the transfer your save file in Death Stranding doesn't work, or for the PS4 to the PS5 doesn't work unless you install the PS4 version, open it, and get to a delivery point. Like, you have to deliver your save game to a point before you can actually use the
Is that true?
Transfer save game. Apparently it's true. I'm not sure if it's like an actual like mission, or if it's like you just have to be at a point to write the data out, and it just so happens. But it would not surprise me if Kojima wrote something in there that was like, if you were in the middle of a delivery, you can't transfer your save point until you go back and finish that delivery first. But I like the idea. I like the idea of writing a quest into the PS4 version that makes you deliver your save point, like all the, because if you were at the end of the game, right, like getting back to the opening area, you should be able to quick travel back to that area. So it would be really easy to get back to the opening area. But I like the idea of having to deliver your save game.
Actually, I would not be opposed to doing something that fucking insane.
Of course, when I loaded the game, I was like, well, I don't want to transfer my save game. I don't play this whole bitch over from the beginning. Like,
I honestly might, because I don't mean the transfer. I honestly might just start from the beginning again. A, because I don't remember how to fucking play this game, and B, there's some things I might want to do differently.
Oh yeah, There's an area. Here's a pro tip for anybody who's never played Death Stranding. So if you go back, I told Michael about this a long time ago, but I don't know how many people know this. But the first time they did a gameplay demo for Death Stranding, it was this thing where they were kind of like climbing down this mountain and then putting like a ladder across this river, like going over. And there's like this, the little bunker. There's like a musician there, and you delivered something, and it was like, huzzah, you did it. That area is tucked away in a corner of the first area in the map, and there is nothing to ever indicate that you need to go there. There's no missions to make you deliver stuff to there until you go there for the first time. So literally, you could just play through the game. And I remember I was going back trying to find every single area on the map, and there was a square in the opening section that if you zoomed out, it was like, wait, where is that square? And I finally went and found it, and this time I did it right at the very beginning instead of waiting until I was almost totally done with the game.
Yeah, I literally had no idea that was there until you told me.
Dude gives you a harmonica, and he can play a harmonica for BB, and he fucking laughs, and he loves it, and it's like, yay.
And I wish that I had knew that from the beginning. Yep. And now I want to see how that plays out.
Yep. And last but not least, happy 10th anniversary to Dark Souls. It's kind of amazing that Dark Souls is 10 years old this week. It's kind of amazing to me. One, it's amazing that it has been 10 years.
Yeah, holy shit.
Because I remember that I saw Dark Souls at E3 when I went to E3 before I went like to cover it as the first year of Rage Select. I think I went to E3 as from Spill, and I think that they had the kiosk for Dark Souls where you could play it. But then it's also amazing to think that it's only been 10 years since Dark Souls comes out. When you consider the magnitude of its effect on the industry as a whole, and the number of just like it's its own genre. There have been, 4 additional From Software games since then.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. The idea that it oozed out into so many other genres, into so many other games, that the mechanics of it have been adopted. It
changed everything.
Yeah.
Like in both good and bad ways, I think, to be honest.
Yep.
But in a lot of really good ways. And I think I'm just going to throw this on top of there because I saw this today. It's Halo 3's 14th anniversary.
Okay.
And that blows my mind only because it's been 14 years since I played the shit out of that game with a bunch of my old high school friends. And it just made me nostalgic, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Part of the problem with this whole new system is that we've actually been going quite a bit longer than we normally do.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Go to patreon.com/RageSlide. Hey, you know what? I podcasted my headache out. I don't have a headache anymore. I podcasted the headache right out of my head. So, I mean, I'm sure you're still tired, but my headache's gone. So.
I'm a little more awake. That's because I realized I have power because it's been 14 years since I was a teenager and I didn't have power.
There you go. Michael, tell the people where they can find you when you're not over here. Help me out.
You can find me on oneofus.net. I did movies and television reviews. You know what? I feel bad for not mentioning this that I did. I'm just going to mention it real quick. This is the other thing I did over the last weekend is I went to a toy store with John Sitton. Here in Austin, and I just wanted to bring that out.
So after you guys helped me jump my car, you made plans to go to a toy store?
Yes, we made plans for that Saturday to go to the Toy Dojo, which I'd never heard about until John.
I'm bringing a lawsuit. Nobody uses the word dojo without my express written permission.
This place is really cool. It's a really small store. Mm-hmm. It's really, really small. Like it's barely almost bigger than this room kind of thing. Like if you moved a little more that way, I guess. And it's got a lot of just stuff that you wouldn't find most other places because no one knows it's there.
Okay.
So I think it's really cool. But I just wanted to throw that out there because John, John's also a greatest like, and he's a good friend. I've
been thinking about, it's funny, I might pick your brain about that because I feel like I've been very you and I were talking before about kind of I don't know. I feel like I haven't been as creative as I have been before. So I was thinking about like I might want to get into like after watching that tested video, it's like I might want to get into Gunpla.
They have a bunch of Gunpla there.
The easy stuff, like the easier stuff, not the $300 masterwork shit.
They have some of that. They had some perfect grades there too, actually.
Oh fuck,
that's the reason I just reminded there. Yeah, they had the perfect grade Millennium Falcon, for instance.
But like I don't know, just I remember back building those like the easier ones. It's like you can just sit down and like in an afternoon, put on a YouTube video, grab your snippers, snap everything together, and at the end you're like, huzzah, it's a Gundam. So that's it. We're done. It's time for me to watch a bunch of anime or play Death Stranding, whichever comes first. Who knows? Who can say? Nobody.